Allez, bonjour à tous, bonjour à toutes. J'espère que vous allez bien. On est parti pour la troisième journée du tournoi. Mais en fait, c'est deuxième journée du groupe A. Donc, on va savoir qui c'est qui va gagner sa place. Qui c'est qui va finir premier de la journée, surtout. On va suivre ça. Je vais mettre le son.
become basically MVP of the biggest tournament of the year, but also they have themselves the chance at winning a Porsche Cayenne or the substitute cash value equivalent, which is huge. The fact that the MVP is going to be able to take this home,
yeah,
brilliant.
And I love, our first thought was, and our first questions to the teams were like, how are you going to share a Cayenne? Like, are you going to drive it together everywhere where you go? Like, are you going to rent one if you go to a new tournament? Yeah, I think that's up to the individual, obviously. The MVP decides how that goes.
Yeah, I was talking to Tiggleton earlier. He says Shrimsy's going to get the front two wheels. Kickstart's going to get the back two. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work out too well, guys, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
And then the other half of the teams are like, yeah, we're not going to talk about it. That's a jinx. We're superstitious. We don't want to talk about that now. We'll see how it goes in the final.
Yeah, but let's talk about everything that happened to start off with Group A, of course, because we can look at our top 4 teams and how they were able to participate so far. I think for a lot of people out there, there's maybe 2 teams here that you're thinking, yeah, probably kind of a likelihood for them to be in that top 5.
Yeah.
2 others, F and Ponchon looked spectacular in their first foray to Group A.
Yeah, is it the magic of the cheese himself?
Oh, the cheesy
Could
man.
be. No, I'll say this though, impressive with the top 3 teams. They kind of separate themselves quite a lot down to Sharper East, but there's quite a gap there, 15 or so points. You can also see there's 13 or more kills coming in their way. But one of the impressive things is top 4 raid was 50%, both for expendables, which is kind of expected for one of these teams. But for Sharper, I looked a little bit deeper into some of the games.
Sure.
And I will say this though, the circles kind of did come to their favor. So they will be obviously hoping for that to continue a little bit here.
You say that. I would like to believe it's the tie buff here for Bangkok. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to be the more illogical second man here for all that. But let's focus on FN Ponchon here, because I think one thing's for sure is that we had a lot of expectations around like someone like Rex. Zenith was absolutely huge and very impactful in how they were playing things out, and they just looked super aggressive. I would say even from going up against T1, where I thought T1 should have had this in the bag against them, because FN Ponchon was very kind of cornered into a position. Yes. They were still able to kind of capitalize on the mistakes of T1 very well.
Yeah, Type not being there fighting on that same ridge with them, that was the downfall of T1 for sure here. But FN Ponchon have been very impressive yesterday, or the day before yesterday it is, with FN Ponchon obviously being able to get so many kills.
Definitely, as we take a look a little bit further into this as well, and it seems like it is a full team kind of cohort working in tandem with one another. Of course, it is Zenith and Rex that are kind of the flashier plays at the top of everything, but I mean, if they can continue this on, a top 5 is guaranteed for them. It's a question of whether or not they can in a stacked group like this.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they're looking good, but 50 points is not running away with it. They still had a few bad games. They still had games where it's like, okay, they could have gotten a few more here and there. They could have maximized. They will need to have a similar day to day 1 today, and then they can have like a more relaxed or mediocre day. Or, if they want to make things spicy, have a bad day today and then go ham on their last.
Oh yeah, keep it really spicy, yeah. Now, I do have to ask you directly then, do you think, based on previous records from that team, that they can keep it on with Zenith taking the #1 spot from damage?
Yeah, he is obviously, he had a fantastic performance, and I looked at their games. Their macro is really good. I really like how they're approaching their game 2, circle 2, circle 3 approach, especially with
Bonjour à ceux qui arrivent sur le stream.
They're super smart. They're like long rotation based on, they're looking, okay, we have a southern circle, we have a northern plane path, we have another southern shift. Let's try to get on that kind of lesser.
Deuxième journée du groupe A.
Kill leaders, you've seen it both. #1 kills. If you have 15 kills, it's obviously massive. Also top on the 15 kills and the damage here. There's also a few more players that's tied for the 10 kills, but The biggest standout for you, though, we have to talk a little bit about that. Levante's got to be one of the big ones.
Why is it the biggest standout for me?
Because you had him on your fantasy team,
Ah!
and you kind of expected it. You kind of saw it coming a little bit.
A little bit, right? Okay, we have a slight advantage when it comes to that as we take a look at Nemiga alongside Sharper as well. But Levante, a 10,000 pick on fantasy, and we know that this guy is strong. So definitely impressive to see them come out and do so well alongside Sharper as well, who I think vastly surpassed my expectations for day number 1 of the group stage. Whether or not they can continue that on based on what you previously said, as well as maybe that tie buff to a lesser extent. We'll see, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Sharper here. I hope they can step up and continue this level here, but they are this 4th spot where they basically, in my book, is a big part of this middle pack. One great game for them puts them deep into the top 3.
Yeah.
1 or 2 bad games put them potentially in 10th place, right? It is so close with all those teams that are in the high 20s points and 30s points here.
No, for sure. Unless you're FM Ponchon, unless you're Expendables, unless you're Twisted Minds, there's still a huge number of spots that you can jump up with just a few points. And of course, an Amiga coming in, previously the win or die roster from EMEA, if you're not familiar with their current name that they're playing under at the moment. It's great that they have a proper org on side for them, I would say, as well, because for the longest time, this team upset a lot of the status quo in EMEA. They weren't taking the number 1 and 2 spots every single time, but they were always in the conversation for a great team across all of EMEA.
Yes, and once we saw Group A unfold on our first day, I was like, damn, these guys are just doing exactly what they are. Like, and talking to them, like, just feel so comfortable being here, right? And that's a good thing. Once you're in LAN, you can focus on your game. You're out of the comfort of your own home, but you're here, you're on equal rights with everyone. And if you are on a worse PC at home, if you're kind of used to bad ping, you're here in LAN, it feels amazing to play. And you could see that for an Amiga yesterday. And if that is able to continue, they're going to need to have bigger days than they've had so far to kind of be into that 125 to 135 area that I predict that is going to be the 5th to 6th place cut.
Yeah, and we'll see if anybody's going to be picking them in the Pick'em Challenge. I think they'll be a little bit lower down the ranks because there's some big names that obviously you can pick along for and get yourself some esports points as well. And then when you get those esports points, you can convert them into lovely prizes in-game. Ooh.
Yes, so make sure you pick those. Or you could wait until you see what teams are in the finals, so hold on.
Miramar, Thiago, Rondo, Rangel et Rangel.
Starting with Miramar today, though.
T'as pas beaucoup chargé.
Miramar is, for me, you know,
moi, c'est toujours pas Miramar en premier.
2 games here because we are starting a little bit more slow where people can get into things.
I feel like day 2 of a group stage, though, it is really a kind of crunch time, right? You've got DN Freaks, not exactly in the most comfortable of positions. You've got some other big names down there as well. What's your expectations for today?
For me here, like, if we don't see a DN Freaks coming in strong, we need to see a 50+ point. We need to see them in the 80 to 90+ area. If we don't see that, I will be scratching them off my favorites in the finals.
It's tough, especially with the last couple of lands. It has been difficult for them, but there's a great opportunity today to try and make that rise happen. It is time for day number 2 for Group A. Let's get it going here for PGC.
Mình đạt được cái cúp thế giới lần thứ 2.
For our PGC champions, the Expendables.
Là những thành tích của mình nó sẽ bắt buộc phải tốt hơn, chứ không là những người hâm mộ người ta kỳ vọng quá lớn mà mình thất bại thì nó sẽ khá là buồn.
네, 이제 한번 세계대회 한번 꼭 나가보고 싶다라는 마음으로 팀이 결성됐거든요. 그래서 이왕 온 거 좀 재밌고 즐겁게 하자는 마음으로 왔기 때문에 좀 즐길 것 같습니다.
我觉得我自己心态方面就是还是相对以前稍微好了一点，然后团队的话偏向就是相对于以前心态肯定还是会有所好转。我们队伍对本次 PGC 目标就是全力以赴吧，争取拿到冠军。
We have good understanding between us, and I think we will try to do our best performance.
발전을 했다라고 느껴지는 그런 한 해였던 것 같고, 이제 PGC를 앞두고 좀 많이 기대되는 그런 부분인 것 같습니다.
For me, I left my family when I was 19, and I feel like if I am not going to be taking care of my parents, if I'm not going to live with them and be around them, then I need to make them proud and I need to work hard.
Я б хотів би, щоб нас запам'ятали як найсильнішу команду у файтах.
แข่งในประเทศไทยรู้สึกมีกำลังใจครับรู้สึกดีครับที่พวกเขาได้เห็นความสามารถของเราจริงๆครับแล้วก็เห็นด้วยครับที่พวกเราเป็นทีมม้ามืดผมอยากได้วินเนอร์ชิคเก้นดินเนอร์ให้มากที่สุดครับเพราะว่าอยากจะเห็นทุกคนลุกขึ้นมาดีใจพร้อมกันกับพวกเราครับสังกัดใหม่ที่ได้ย้ายเข้ามาเป็นในไบเทสเพราะว่าเราเชียร์มาตั้งแต่เด็กๆไม่มีแรงกดดันแล้วกันครับสนิทกันมากแล้วก็รู้จักเป็นพี่น้องกันก็อยากให้ผู้ชมได้เชียร์ทีมด้วยความสนุกครับ
After PGS 7 and 8, before WCs, I would say we changed a lot since we got Corexy, the team structure, team roles, and I would say that is probably the biggest change that we've done this year. So yeah, I'm happy that we did it.
If we win PGC, I would say it sounds like we passed the game. Nothing left to win. For sure, we want to win this PGC hard, make us want to win this event even more.
It's time for day number 2 of Group B for PGC. Match'em Paper Thin taking you through everything. This is our Group A.
Group A, brother.
Right. Oh, I got so excited.
I know. It's okay.
Too many groups. Just starting off the get-go. Well, we're talking about all these letters. Why don't we go ahead and dive into 2 other ones, an FN.
Yeah, I really want to talk about FN a little bit because I think that's the biggest surprise coming into the opening day, where a team that, you know, when Rex has been there, they've played pretty well. But I think part of their strategy, so this has been a pretty chaotic lobby compared to Group B, which was a very structured lobby, a very EMEA-controlled lobby, if you want to put it that way.
Talking about that, and I 1000% agree.
Yeah, exactly. Group A is a little more chaotic. I mean, you've got teams like the Expendables in there who throw a wrench into everything because they play so different. But FN also playing very different, where they're happy to play a very late edge game, where they're happy to sit in some blue and watch to see what teams around them are doing. If they find an opportunity for third parties, they'll go for it. If not, they look for opportunities to make wide late wraps that have worked out really well for them, where they've been able to find some big open space for themselves.
Well, there's a lot of chaos in this one. Like, even Al Qadzia with these like 1-1 splits that they're kind of do. We've been seeing all of the hot drops that have been happening with T1 and how they're getting involved in all of that. This is a really intriguing lobby whenever we look at the comparison to the other one, because the other one's much more, I guess, static is a way to say. It's very formulaic, and it's good in that regards because the players have an idea on how they want to approach everything. And this one, there's like 5 different metas that are all competing against each other at the same time while also competing for drop spots. And then you throw in, again, squads like the Expendables that are just a bit more chaotic. We've seen squads like Gen G kind of suffering due to that.
Yeah, I think Gen G is not playing the game that I saw them play.
They're playing the game that Pio was playing yesterday in the glider.
Oh, no. It's a bit of a crash and burn for Gen G. You're absolutely right. I mean, so Gen G kind of playing a bit more edge, a bit more spread out when they were having success, kind of getting those second places and things like that. But when I was watching them in particular during the VOD review here, they were like gunning for center circle sometimes where there was no hard cover, there wasn't a lot of openings. They're cutting in front of like 2 or 3 teams, so they're going to get sandwiched between a bunch of different teams and forced into bad decisions. So I think whatever they decided was going to be the meta coming into this for this lobby was wrong. They had a bad read on it coming into that first day. I expect them to change. Lakewood does a great job coaching that team. I expect them to kind of figure things out here today.
Kind of a squad that took me off guard given the performance and how well they were doing was Sharper. Sharper and really Earth, the way he was popping off, the squad itself was maneuvering through a lot of these firefights and really reading the counter moves that were available to them very, very efficiently, stepping into that. Of course, we have Namika. The desk was also talking about how they were kind of this squad that was shaking up the meta. Well, they're in the right lobby to do so. We've got game number 1, and it is Miramar, starting off with the plane path down next to Violet Mar, leading all the way up to Tierra Bronca.
Yeah, okay, so kind of an interesting plane path. It doesn't give you some access to some of the stuff in the north, but I wanted to touch on Sharper as well real quick. I'm glad you brought them up because, yeah, they got a little circle up yesterday. Okay, but
they also got a lot of team hate yesterday.
Yeah, but I will say the thing I was impressed with them was they played with confidence. Like, they weren't playing scared. They weren't just hunkering down, trying to, you know, turtle it out until the late game. They were really taking opportunistic fights. They were looking for their moments when they could capitalize and get points, and they did pretty well at it. So that's something I want to see more of from them, is just maintain that confidence.
One thing we did already kind of talk about FN Pochon, but Breakers has been kind of a standout in the way that he's just kind of stepped in very quickly, kind of adjusting to how LAN functions and how these internationals all come together. And of course, we've got our hot drop right off the start. It's going to be JDG T1 landing. It is Chuma Sarah battle time already, and it's a drop between both. Finding this off the get-go, T1 has Ian down, but looks like they managed to find some shotties.
Yeah, picking up those shotguns and some of those close-range weapons, really, really nice. Cold tries to go for the flank angle, but he's the last one left, whereas Ian, the only one dropped here for T1. They got the guns quick this time. A much better go of it in the warehouse compared to yesterday. A little bit of damage done there, but not significant. Type is trying to find that extra angle as the flushes start to come through.
I mean, Cold is such a strong player, but he's so disadvantaged right now. You can see where he's even having to just go for some loot. Does spot, goes for some Uzi shots, but doesn't have a lot of ammo, and any little bit that he uses is going to be just a massive problem, and JDG is eliminated. T1 picking up the points.
So look, if you want to criticize T1 for committing to their hot drops,
je vais bien, et toi, comment vas-tu?
B, they're still in 5th place in this lobby. So the thing is like, they can keep going for it. These other teams that are contesting them, JDG, 4AM, look where they're at, 14th, 15th place.
Respect to the fan that after a hot drop and JDG instantly going down, you still hold up the sign. That's a true fan right there.
You know what? It's crazy how many different teams I've seen represented here in Thailand. The fans here are just incredible. I can't say enough about how much I love Thailand for the fans.
They like their region, but they also
Personne n'est allé à Porto Pariso.
Yes.
Sure, they'll have like their hometown team that they like, but almost all of them have like at least 2 or 3 from other regions that they like, and they love to cheer for. And what's really interesting is whenever we get here, there's a wall right as soon as you come up the escalator that's got like essentially a way to like cheer on different teams, and each like one has its own like, I guess, marked off area where you can put post-it notes and people can write things that they want to say to players. And it's almost entirely full. There's not a team that's just entirely ignored there. It's everybody getting something from somebody, and it's all like cheers and respect and love. It's great to see.
Exactly. It's why I'm always just thrilled to come here for any esports event, especially for PUBG, because everything is just so fun. The fans make it so fun. They're all coming up and talking to you before. They're so excited to be here. Get to see some live PUBG. With the literal best players in the world.
We had people come up and giving us fist bumps, like what, 30 seconds before
yeah,
we went
live? Yeah.
I mean,
it's great.
Love it. All right, circle time. We've got GK that's an Impala that's going to be pretty centered up on it. Orchid's just going to be the northwest of them, making their rotate. To the west of that, and the fields around Impala is going to be the Expendables. Southwest, Jin G's got a read on the circle and going to be getting there pretty early. And outside of that, everybody else outside the circle.
I'm pretty curious about Geekay in this circle. So they're a very edge-heavy team normally. They're really happy to be kind of one of those teams that forms a line on an edge, and they're sort of leapfrogging each other into the circle, trying to cover each other, trying to look for fights, that kind of thing. Didn't go the best on day one, but I think there's still legs to their style, to their ideas, especially in this lobby. I think they just need to tighten up the screws on some of the decision making. You know, when are we going to go for those third parties? When are we going to make our big moves? those could use a little bit of work. But other than that, you know, obviously the results aren't there yet. They're still in 13th, but this lobby's so tight that, you know, you just need that one good game, and all of a sudden you're up in the top 5.
I mean, you're looking at it, it's 56, 55, 54, then finally a drop-off, and it's not even a massive drop-off. That's like a game or two of big, like, point totals to kind of catch up with everything. But then it's just tied back in, 38, 39. Then a 3-way tie at 33, and then just a 2-point line. This is just jam-packed. Yeah, Gen G is not doing the best down in 16th, but like one good game can put them back in the E-Arena area around 6th.
Yep, that's just it.
It's crazy.
It's that top 5, right? That's all you're gunning for here. That's all you need to go directly to the grand finals and just avoid the bottom 3 if you don't want to, you know, get sent home. But top 5 is what you're gunning for, and basically everybody's, you know, except for Gen G and JDG, well, because they're out of this one, but 4 a.m., you're one good game away from that top 5 almost. So that's all you really need to focus on right now. It's just kind of having a good day. There's the lobby's wide open.
And while JDG hasn't been necessarily having the hot drops go their way, respect, they're tied with 4 Angry Men right now, and they're having to deal with hot drops galore, so they're at least finding some points. Very curious to see if they stay committed in the longer the day goes.
Yeah, I am curious about that too. I mean, for T1 now, you're starting to get to the point where you can play with house money a little bit, especially because they're so good on Tego and Rondo, where they don't have hot drops to contest with, that they still have the confidence.
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's wild to think that 4 out of the 6 maps, you know, 2/3 of our games, they're hot dropping, and they're still in 5th place.
That squad, they win my heart for a lot of reasons, but they also make me nervous. That's one of the reasons it's kind of fun whenever we look at this lobby. No disrespect to the other lobby. This one just gets a little bit more wild, and, you know.
This is more our style.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it wild.
We both do. Like, the crazier the circle is, the better time you and I are generally having. So, yeah, this is definitely our kind of thing. Now, Diffix had a really good day for Geeky. I will say that.
Yeah.
Really
he's
played
just
well.
In general, a great player.
Yes.
And always a good fantasy pickup as a heads up to anybody.
Yeah, he's just so solid, man. I mean, you know, yeah, he was on Navi. It didn't go the way they wanted, but still a very talented player. Star-Lord up in the air, and the rest of FN actually driving in from the northeast, like on the very eastern road. He's just doing scouting here. A little bit precarious to be doing this over a congested city, but we'll see if he can get down.
Look, he's just up in the sky. His name is Star-Lord. This is where he lives. This is what he is, like, born to do, is try to dodge these out. The question is...
It's like watching a World War II, like...
I know, like, look at all of the tracers. There are, what, 2, 3 different teams that are taking shots at him?
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and make it a 4th. He's almost there. You can do it.
I mean, the funny thing is he's found some opening. I mean, the
Mais ils en veulent tous, hein?
kind of mini Impala up there is free, so I think he's done it.
And touchdown. There we go. Star-Lord, respect. Big scouting play, and the rest of the squad should regroup back behind him. We're talking about FN in a lot of regards just because of how...
Ouais, allez les Twisted. T'as bien raison, Ulysse.
Zenith himself also had an explosive series. And do you think that that's a trend setting coming out from that? Because Rex is the guy that we've been talking about a lot whenever we talk about FN. But Zenith was just popping off.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is they were able to put Zenith into spots where his natural talent shines, and his natural talent has always been a rifler. He's not as good with the DMRs. He's very talented up close and personal with rifles, and that's where we were seeing him pop off, right? He put him in those situations, and he's got a good chance to beat his opponents, and that was what he was doing. You know, it just reminds me of the old La Vega days when he was able to just lock down compounds by himself. Guy was absolutely crazy. So that's kind of a, you know, Rex is going to be good no matter what. It's just if you can get Zenith popping as well. Star-Lord and Breakers both had some moments. You know, Breakers is turning into a good glue guy for this team, a good support guy, often running around with Zenith. So it's looking really nice for
Another
FN.
squad that's winning my heart is Namiga. They've just kind of put themselves right in between FN Pochon as well as 4 Angry Men. They have a Sandstorm on top of them, but presently in that pack of a 3-way tie with E-Arena, Al-Qadzia, and them. See how they weather this first game as they have managed to put themselves in a pretty decent spot. We haven't had a chance to really talk about the fact that this has got a lot of water in it. So squads are leaning a little coastliney, but are expecting this to kind of shift away. a lot of our squads leaning north, hoping that this goes away from Los Leones, goes away from the fields, and moves into that kind of truck stop area, so that way there's a little bit more space to play around.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, the fields are less fun than others. Oh, breakers.
That's dirty.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any hope there for old Gedrix. He is pretty in trouble. But this is kind of FN's, you know, like MO right now. Is there? Look how, if you can see the map, they're really spread out on it. Then they're able to set up these crossfires and, you know, catch teams and players off guard.
Down next to Los Leones on the outskirts, we've got Al Qadzia that's got T1 very close to them. Looks like both squads just trying to see if anybody's going to be around that Puerto Paraiso area and putting themselves in potential firing line. Sharper could be coming up back behind this, but there's a lot of options that Sharper could take. Al Qadzia is leaning a bit more west, or a little bit more east, I'm sorry. Has a pathing option ahead of them, so timing's going to work out to where be a bit behind them, but, you know. Look, he's a young player. We don't know how much driving experience he has.
Is he old enough to drive? Is he in a flood scenario where we're not sure if he's old enough? Like,
that was, you guys didn't hear it. In the arena, that was the most guttural ugh we've heard whenever somebody has hit something. A circle did go north, so the math works out in where a lot of these squads were wanting it to go.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's not a big deal. We all hit rocks all the time in this game. It's
just in the game?
Well, I mean, normally I'm, you know, trying to eat rocks because I'm dumb, but rocks.
Hey, rock candy's pretty good.
Rock candy is good. You're not wrong. Twisted here, just, you know, having that escape valve as always. Something that they're so good at is never overcommitting to anything. Speaking of overcommitting.
Good shots, and oh, that's just going to be roaming right next to him. Irina, I don't think, was entirely expecting this when Matosi finally goes down. Orca goes down. Once Irina made landfall and got their feet underneath of him, they managed to start spinning this back around. Nuren's taking a lot of damage, but has managed to survive. Flame just to the south of this. Looks like he's trying to set an angle, but the way the smokes are set, no good vision.
Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in if somebody crashes you, because there's going to be other teams who can see this and get involved. So, in fact, we can see the Freaks, also the Expendables, because Duck Juice was the one who actually got the knock onto Orca. So Gen G there just, again, kind of taking spots. They were so early into this first circle, Matt, and I don't like where they ended up. You know, that half pipe is so precarious.
Well, everybody else was leaning north, and they were the squad that went fields, and I almost feel that it's like, they were thinking, okay, maybe the math will go our way and we'll get a good spot over here and the circle come over to the west. And they put themselves in a bad spot for a later stage. But even if the circle had gone to them, their defense just wasn't ready for Irina.
Yep, you're exactly right. This is exactly what I was worried about when I went and watched the VODs.
Where's he looking?
Irina, probably?
Irina.
I have to assume.
Okay, how good's the math? Just throw one out there to see.
Yeah, Clories, how good was the... oh, they're getting shot at, though, so they got to be a little careful. Don't want to stick around too long. Not bad, actually. That's,
yeah, okay.
I mean, for where they might be, that's not too bad. But anyway, yeah, so for Gen G, just real quick, you know, they're kind of doing that playstyle that I'm not as big of a fan of for them. I think they're just not quite cut out for some of those center circle holds.
Did
he fall?
I mean, maybe a tree branch fell on him or something?
Was he parachuting in and hit the tree? I mean...
I don't know.
Did he fall out of the car? Did he hit the button?
So I do want to say, though, while we watched the Irina Gen G thing, it's the most Expendables thing ever to just kind of see a fight going on over there and being like, mortar, who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky. They just want to be involved in everything that's going on, and I love it.
Well, yeah, and it's what makes them good, is that they're always looking for opportunities, right? Like, every moment of every game, they're not content to just sit around and lock something down unless they absolutely have to, like they do right now because they're in the middle of the field.
Okay, Gen G. What are you going to do? You've got Al Qadzia to the south of you. Irina's still messing with you. T1's just made it to make it inside the circle. Here's the Expendables kind of chilling. They're middle of field, so they're pretty okay for the time being. New circle's going to pop in just a few. Up to the north, we've got a pretty wide split of teams that could bump into each other, so it all depends on where this circle goes, and it does end up going fields. Gen G is kind of kicking themselves, wishing that they managed to hold on to it, but keep an eye up into the northeast and potentially down into the southeast. That's going to be a couple of squads all roaming on top of each other.
Yeah, T1's in a really difficult position. Them and Al Qadzia, they might just have to take a fight. But the problem is a lot of teams are going to have some view into wherever they end up, and Al Qadzia is trailing them.
They had to stop behind those hay bales just to switch out because of losing tires and everything else like that. Alcazia's wrapping right next to him. Fortunately, T1 is getting to a compound, but it's not even in the safe zone yet. This is just a stop-off to regroup. They're taking shots at Alcazia, and Alcazia is now roaming next to 17. If anything, now T1 has the opportunity to roam back behind Alcazia, but where's Alcazia even go? I mean, there is the compound that Twisted is playing at, and a bit of a that stop-off dip, and I think that's where we're going to see them go because there's not too much else over here.
Yeah, there's a couple dips around this compound that you can somewhat reasonably set up in. It's always a little bit dicey, but definitely the least bad of options there for Alcazia. And T1 now, I think you were maybe kind of hoping that Alcazia would dust up with somebody and you could make a move off of that. Instead, it looks like they might be relatively safe. Ooh, a nice headshot there, but it should be A-okay for Perfectix, going to be able to get back into the safety of the rest of his team, I assume. And FN really fanned out around Furia, actually looking to try to pick them apart.
Furious being gate kept out by kinda FN, kinda 4 Angry Men. Sharper is also approached in from the north. They're very close to 4 Angry Men. It's the remnants of the truck stop teams. They have to make pathings. Kraken walk into the wrong neighborhood, and Breakers yet again finding the shots.
He got lucky there. His peak showed just enough of his head, and Zakraken
That's not Breakers.
opted to go for the shot. You're right, that's not. But that alerted Breakers to his presence and gave him the opportunity for the quick peek there. That was a nice little play, reaction play from Breakers, but Zakraken had heard him. He was waiting, he was looking, he had heard the footsteps. Just a little bit of unfortunate timing. Pulled the trigger just a bit too soon.
Opposite end of this circle, we also have T1 and Sharper. Looks like they're playing the edge of Cantera both, so they could be comfortable together, or they could end up going for a fight. We'll have to see how much Sharper wants to go for it. FN still keeping an eye on Furia for the time being, though. This is kind of the catalyst point where we can see Rex playing to the south of where Furia is going to be. It's going to be Zenith and Breakers tailing in back behind them.
Be a little revenge here attempted for Gen G with the mortars on the E-Arena, but E-Arena's got the happy feet, keeping themselves away from it. Oh, that's ambitious, Rex.
Yeah, but he's got the information now to feed over to Star-Lord. Star-Lord has an angle. They can contain this. The rest of the squad's going to be coming in, but there is a Fury member back behind FN Pochon. They've got to be careful. If they get too caught up in this, they can suddenly find themselves getting caught apart from behind, but they finish it just too fast, man.
Dude, Rex is so good right now. That was so well played. He realized he couldn't take that 2-on-1 easily, threw a close grenade anticipating the push because the opponents were going to try to get away from that car. They were dead to rights if a grenade hits anywhere near it. He underhands it in front of him, gets that first knock, waits for the teammates to get there. That was beautiful.
Okay, this is Cantera where we've got T1 and Sharper caught up on top of each other. Nades rolling down very close to Sharper. They're committing into the res. Earth on, near on, no life, but he's going to go for it and does manage to get his team member back up. Furia does get eliminated off screen while this is going on. T1 in control for the time being, but Sharper just wants out. That's all they want to do. They want to get out of this point, and they want to rotate away, but T1 is hungry. They started firefighting early, and they are not done yet.
Dude, Type is so nasty, and there's Heather with a nice headshot, dealing with the difficult Escaluzia on the far end. He was the real danger man, and T1 is dissecting Sharper.
There's just nowhere to go. Jedi is so far away. He can't even get involved in this. Just to the south, Geek is also trying to regroup on another dip, very close to Alcazia and Twisted's compound.
Man, oh man, what a push there. T1 needed some point, some way, somehow. Alcazia in trouble here. Spyro, oh, he gets lit up though.
That's a hard approach to take. There's just not too many angles that are going to be too available. And this is just trying to defend the other section of Geek to see if they can rally a bit. But Twisted's not even too caught up in this. They're more concerned with what's going on with T1 back behind him. That means that this is its own contained fight for the time being. Opposite side of it, we've got Gen G as well as E-Arena caught up. E-Arena knew that they had the numbers advantage. They're just coming after Gen G, not giving them any space.
Yeah, a good grenade there. Flame was trying to find a way to dodge it, but getting shot in the back by the Freaks made it pretty difficult. And now FN space on the edge.
Les Furs, ça y est, ils sont éliminés.
They already got a kill. Or knock, I should say, on 4 AM earlier, who's going to be a team that they could try to contest with, or actually they're going to go for Orchid's compound. That's a 2-2 split. That is a breachable compound.
Ambitious, they've got a roll, and while this is going on, 4 Angry Men is coming up right back behind them, so T1's going to find an opportunity, but they have to move quick, because where they get into position, you can already see a couple of utility pieces coming out, and 4 Angry Men collapsing. Just back behind this, where we're looking at with Pochon, T1, they've got a slower and steady approach. There we go. That's the one I wanted to see.
Yeah, so this has got to be quick for FN and T1. Both of these teams need to get on their horses. start driving forward because the blue is not going to be too kind to them in phase 4. So Reigning and going to be the point men here. Jedi, what can you do? And all going to dream. A lot of
1, 2,
util to
3.
work
Oui,
with,
on
though.
m'entend
He
sur
has
le
a couple
stream.
blue zones, could stall out if he wanted. And some mollies.
But it's so hard. He's just managed to get a foothold over here. He knows that he's got a squad in front of him. Any shots that he takes is just going to alert anybody from Namiga that wants to see if they want to get involved in this as well. The contain angles are so difficult. He's just trying to stall it out, and it's just not going to happen. T1 is just too bloodthirsty right now. New circle pops, and it leans northeast.
Okay, not bad at all here for FN if they can hang on, but 4 a.m. starting to continue to inch. Now, T1 is starting to shoot into their backs, but there you go. Shen actually going to get into Star-Lord. The Expendables are going to be chilling. They have a pretty nice compound for themselves. D'Amiga, those are crashable. Those trailers are not the safest of structures.
Well, this has now turned into an awkward position for Namiga because they have T1 behind them. They're not inside the circle. It's open field that's going to be in front of them. The Expendables are down to the south. There's not a lot of good real options to work with. Twisted still containing up back behind him. Wants to deal with GK before they make their wrap. Alcazia is also still in the
Mais les 3 premiers sont dans un mouchoir de poche.
Oddly contained in the position that they were playing from that was so powerful a moment ago.
Yeah, Twisted needs those other 2 teams to fight. Meanwhile, FN starting to collapse there. Yeah, that pressure from 4 a.m. really nicely thought out in time there by 4 a.m.
Ah, il y a lui qui s'est fait les coucher.
Where they tried to third party that. Could never really get a beachhead established.
This has just turned into a waiting game. Down to the south, we've got 17 that's just going to roll right into E Arena. Easy pickup on shot. Spins back around, hoping the shield was going to be enough, but it is not. Multiple members for 17 down. Blue Ghost way on the outside of this. Jacob's already got the read on him, though. Last member up in Jacob. Can he keep himself alive? Nade connects, gets some damage, but doesn't take him down just quite yet.
Oh, the follow-up so close. How is he hanging on right now? Just by a thread, but that one's going to do it. Yeah.
It's
Ils ont réussi à le relever à lui.
Problem, that's gonna be the freaks. They've heard this
qui passe deuxième.
goes by himself. Spots it out. Nothing that they can do. Now Human, the rest of the squad has themselves a foothold.
Il repasse troisième.
Back into Twisted. Now Alcazia, as there's just nowhere either one of these squads can go right now. And Alcazia just says, we don't want to deal with Twisted here. We're just gonna go ahead and go. We're gonna try to find something.
Yeah, I mean, your hope here is you can use these hills
Les FN qui risquent peut-être de perdre leur première place.
Fight against Twisted, but okay, it's starting off well for Cowboy.
Oh, but here comes Twisted. They just run right down into his face. Tries to say, nah, we've got to make our own plays in it. But it
Twisted qui reprend la deuxième place.
Back behind him. Alcazia spins back around. They're right on the edge of the zone. Can they hold back Twisted?
Roth gonna let loose with a molly there to try to keep him barricaded at the Blues' edge. And it is a very nice one. That's really well placed. And Twisted has to start chewing into blue to try to find these knocks to try to get their way forward.
Ah, perfect, éliminé.
Has some of these cars set up for a nice barricade, and then Twisted
Mathuline éliminé.
A couple players left. They're going to go for a bit of a reposition, but I don't know if there's much they can do.
Yeah, they're just kind of trapped in that valley right now. And with the way that the cars are set, I don't even know how they can back themselves out of it too fast. Remember, this is an open field circle for the most part.
Hey, cassez-vous de là.
Make it past Alcazia has to deal with a new set of problems as so many squads have vision on him. And in the center of it all is, of course, the Expendables just shooting at everything that moves around them. Looks like Alcazia is just going to go ahead and roam out of this.
Yeah, looking really nice for the
Il y a deux qui
Expendables.
font 2, 3, 2, 3, 3. Allez hop.
They've been on. They're just wrapping all the way around the edge of the circle. They're up to 10 kills in this game. Time might be running out for them. Orchid has a great 2-2 split right now. I love that Orchid fanned out to keep the Freaks pinned down on that southern side. Reigning going to be collected by Lurix.
Okay, but that puts them very far behind on the pacing for this circle. The Freaks are running in. They're trying to cut out Alcazia. Type's just trapped up there. Orchid can't make a move really until they deal with what's going on. The Expendables are just kind of eyeing everything. Type, I mean, even if T1 goes down at this stage, 10 points and making it into the placement, all right, 10 kills and making it into the placements is just massive. If anything, this is really screwing up Orchid's timing on trying to find some way into the circle. And it's going to be even Tanvu that gets the kill on the Type. They don't even get it.
Yeah, no, that's a really phenomenal game from T1, no matter how you cut it.
Parce que les quads vont réussir à passer premier.
Connect. Rello connects and he's done. Roth, little bit of health left. Can you get another grenade?
Ou les Expendables vont rester premiers.
So might as well let loose with a few more here. The IGL for the Freaks should be considering that. Tire starting to get popped.
T1.
The Expendables, I'm not sure. Or maybe Namiga.
Non, c'est pas la game des T1.
Circle, Alcadzia's got vision, the Expendables have vision. The Freaks want to go after Alcadzia's Roth, but Roth is just trying to see how much he can contain and maybe see if he can steal another point. With everybody being kind of focused on
Joue pas au loto, Boutu.
with a couple more pathing options, there's not a lot for them to work out here, but at least finding something to get into the circle is great.
Yeah, there's just enough hill cover for them to work with for now. So they've been able to get in, set up a firing line, try to deal with the last player of Namiga. They know Hello My Bad's out there, and they're trying to see if they can get the point. And actually, Tanvu sees Lurix just enough, so I don't think they're going to be able to take this one. I would assume Hello My Bad just dies to the blue.
Est-ce que ça va être la game des Expendables?
This circle all at the same time the moment they step out of cover. It doesn't matter where they go. It's just like any squad that moves, I guess somebody else marks and Tanvu just goes, mine, my damage here, my damage over there. Okay, so here we go. Top 4 is going to be 3 squads with 4 still up. And the Freaks, Orchid,
Ouais, ce sera pas la game des quads.
the compound. Orchid's just trying to fight their way in.
Aussi,
and
faut pas que je
Roth
joue au loto.
is lonesome, pretty close to the edge of the zone on top of it.
Yeah, poor Roth is really in a dire position. Does have a little bit of time, but I think eventually somebody's going to try to deal with him, or the circle might just force him out of that spot, really. I was kind of thinking maybe the Freaks would try to expend another grenade or two, but they want to keep those extras for this late game. We're going to go into that. Clory's with the bolt. Please, please. You can lead it just a little bit. Oh, not bad. Not a bad attempt.
Somebody will eventually pop their head up enough. He wants it so bad. We want it so bad. There we go. Calories. Spots out that one. And if anything, that's just going to really screw up anything Orchid has planned, because Circle even went down to the Freaks and Expendables. Timing is just all off for Orchid now.
Well, now, as the Freaks, I think a lot of this is going to come down is if you can keep Orchid from swinging down your direction, they're going to reinforce, try to go for more of a 2-2 split for now. You know, let the Expendables fight up on this northern side. Don't take any knocks. Don't let those bolts connect. If Duck Juice or Clory's hits, you know, that's a real problem, because that'll open up a push for Orchid on those vehicles. But I don't know if there's much DNF can do about this. Or that's a huge knock. It's the go time for Orchid.
Yeah, they've just got to roam down here as fast as possible. This opens up more for the Expendables as well, because their compound mostly not in the circle anymore. Orchid roams down, finds a piece of cover to hide behind, and has vision onto the Freaks. The Freaks still have the ravine into the road that they can play, and they're playing that lower section for the time being, seeing if they can try to hold back the Expendables, but they're starting to find themselves pinched with the cover points that we have. There's no real safe angle except for down in that road.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. This is really tricky. They needed to get there a little bit faster, because the Freaks were able to get the res through, get the heals up. Mortars are targeted in Orchid's direction too. So smokes are down. They're really trying to fan out, trying to cover as much space as they can.
I love this from Orchid. It's risky. They're all separated out, finding different points of cover. They can't res each other if one of them goes down, but that means that they have more firing lines and more control over the circle. The Freaks have had to surrender a lot of the control that they just recently had. The Expendables now starting to lean into that road, use it for cover to try to get away from Orchid. That's now denied that from the Freaks, and the Freaks are having to step on the side of the hill. Roth does finally go down. He at least gets a knock before he goes, but if anything, that's not going to slow down the Expendables too much, and it's just the couple of pieces of terrain that we've got, Paper, are just being so contested.
Yeah, and now the Expendables, who've been able to sit on their util for forever, start to let it loose.
Oh, yeah, Tanvu, I love it. Can he get some more damage out of it? Are we going to see the Expendables push off that? They want to get closer. Orchid is just playing the high ground and loving this.
Oh, man. The Expendables switch to the bolts, and they are putting them to good use. That is scary for Salute.
Look at all of those nades. Everything's being thrown at Salute. There is no point of safety over here. The Expendables want it all.
This is unbelievable stuff from the Expendables. They have just found a great timing to barrel down on top of the Freaks. Delwyn here, going to get a stun to his face. That's going to buy a little bit of extra time, but, you know, that's mostly to get this first aid off for DL. Everything else, though, for the Freaks going very awry.
It's just a survival game at this point, hoping that maybe Orchid gets involved, but Orchid's just content. Play the top side of the hill, and
whatever.
There are no reinforcements coming for you, Freaks. You're just going to have to shoot your way out of it. DL playing one side. Human already gets spot. Tanvu again, man. DL already so low on life. Every peek around the side getting punished, but he at least gets a knock onto one before he goes down.
God, they are just unbelievable. There is nothing the Expendables can't do. There is literally nothing. We have seen it all now.
Except for die. They don't seem to, their name is the Expendables, so they're fine for sacrificing a player here or there to get knocked. But this has been interesting since Tanvu played so far away from this. He's still back next to their compound, so there are 3 different angles of approach for the Expendables to play from.
Dude, yeah, this is in their wheelhouse, to say the least. This is how they love to play. It's fan out. I don't know when they got good with bolts. I mean,
why not?
But why not?
Sure. I mean, Tanvu at 6 kills already, dude. This is scary. Orchid, you've got territory control-ish. You just have to be so careful on every single one of these angles. And look, there's no cover to play, so they're already dropped down. This has turned full stealth, full sneaky, and this is exactly the way the Expendables would want it to be.
Yeah, Delwyn gonna put his life on the line here to try to get closer in towards Orchid. Trying to use some of the distraction the other players are creating for him to maybe find that cheeky knock. They are gonna get one. It's Tanvu again.
Dude, just doing it to everybody. Give this man a bolty every single game, please.
I don't know if there's any way they can get to Magore.
Well, again, that's the way they were set up. They were trying to make sure that they had different angles to try to contain the Expendables. So every single time they lose one of these outlier solos, there is no chance for a res. And the closer and closer the Expendables get, it's just a chokehold on them. There's nothing they can do. Boost It goes down. Delwyn finally pops up. Delwyn goes down. But this is the Southern approach. There's still multiple members for the Expendables now with cover control areas that they can play from and go for peaks from.
They're just unbelievable, dude. They are so good when they're dialed in. Things starting to go a little bit awry, though. Oh, never mind. Duck Juice comes there and finishes it all.
The Expendables are
Était à l'abri d'un peu, hein, Expendable.
Oh, my God. The way they play
with
such confidence, like, the way they can just explode when they need to is unparalleled.
Well, it looks like there's just, like, chaos that's going on, but there's a method to the madness. It's these smart, hyper-precise movements like you were talking about. The other 3 members taking shots so Delwyn can creep forward and then he can get a sneaky angle onto one. That one knock opens up everything. The other members can run in. It is just so beautifully played.
Right, they're busy looking at Duck Juice or somebody else, and Delwyn's creeping up and he gets boosted. He gets the best player on that team, and it just starts to crumble for Orchid there. A really good game overall for Orchid. Loved the way they held down that compound, the way they fanned out to keep the Freaks at bay. Good stuff from them.
Freaks made it into later stages of the game. That was great to see. T1, though, also on a tear of their own. Start ready to go and fight. That was just a crazy start to the day.
Ah, Elise, ils ont été bons. Hein.
The reigning, the defending world champions pulling no punches here, starting off day number 2 with a victory, and Tanvu might be the greatest player in the world at present. What a performance coming out from them. It's a win, match number 7 for the group.
And it might be one of the greatest games of bolt action I've ever seen in my life. This guy usually farms with the DMR, but now he picks up a bolt action, just puts everyone on their knees. Freaks down, like down, knock, down. And then, there's knee there. Tries to flush with the bolt action, hits the knee for 43 damage, enough to delay the whole push for Freaks as well. What a game. I saw that sudden shift, and I was like, oh, that's a Freaks win. Should be, should have been. But enough smokes, enough everything, that takes the win home for Expendables. I like this show, and I like Expendables performing at PGC.
I like the chance of a back-to-back, I'm not going to lie. It's early days yet here, but it's a great performance by them. Shut up, you. Admittedly, they did have a great compound to work from, right? And the circle like this, with that kind of compound, with the actual kind of utility that they have available to them, it was a showcase of what this team can do from a location like this. Team Orchid, do you feel like they were a little too passive on trying to deal with what was going on in the West, or
yes.
What are your thoughts?
So when you have the circle, you're supposed to aggressively defend it. This way, where they're too much in the stomach, it's not TP, like you have no information coming in, you let Delvin crouch and prone way too close to you. And that opening that they're able to get, you know, the other guys kind of run a little bit, get some space. That opening that he gets, that Delvin gets, and I love, especially as an IGL for Delvin, like putting himself into this kind of danger zone spot.
Yeah.
Opens up the whole game for him. Obviously, a knock as well with the ball like from the distance, not being able to get more guards, massive. But that was just so smart play here for Delvin.
Yeah, from some of the pundits, there were some question marks around Expendables throughout the year a little bit, but the question I have on my mind is, are they peaking at the right time at 2025? It's 22 points going the way of the Expendables, as they will be pushing themselves into first place in the group to get things rocking and a-rolling. Second place from this game, in terms of point overall, T1 after the hot drop. That excites me because they have more hot drops on the way, probably.
They probably do, but that's the scary thing, right? We're playing 18 games, sure, but how long are you supposed to be committing to these hot drops, right? Because if you get bottom 3, you're grouped. You are literally, your room is canceled, you're put on a plane, and you're going home.
Gone.
You're gone, right? So you're supposed to try to, for your best here, especially, you're also supposed to try to survive the groups here. But T1 looking good. I like Type. He able to get 4 kills from that. Surviving the hot drop, they're all for getting into kind of the later stages of the game. Getting double digits at this point is going to have an impact. That's actually going to put them in 4th. And look, as I talked about, our mid-pack, James, is just so close. Even GK on 14th, we're talking only 15 points up to 5th place. Like, it is reasonable within one game to get 10 spots improvement here.
Definitely. When I look across all of this, obviously we've talked a lot about those top 3 teams here. We've just mentioned about T1. Al Ghazia being in 5th place, I think that's great here for the Americas as well. We didn't in Group A get much chance to talk about Al Ghazia as well as the Americas, but they're, you know, sitting in a decent position. As you say, though, the only problem is that mid-pack is so close to one another, right?
And if we see, and like it's likely, I honestly really doubt we're not going to be able to see both Expendables.
Ils ont 27 points de retard sur les premiers.
Kind of under rafters, we've seen them have
Alors
fantastic
qu'ils sortent une grosse game.
The other days kind of slacked a little bit for them. They need to have 2 good days and 1 decent day to be able to keep a top 5 spot. I think realistically we're going to be looking at 1 or 2 spots that's up for grabs, looking at performance so far. And you know, we're only 7 games deep. When we're done with our 9th game, we're going to have a lot of kind of interesting stats. We're going to be halfway through. We're going to have, you know, a halfway point where we look at, say, you know, okay, these teams are so far ahead right now that they only need kind of mediocre performance. And knowing Expendables, knowing Twist, that they're going to continue at such a pace that no one else is going to be able to catch them.
I sort of already came into day 2 of this group stage thinking to myself, maybe eventually, where the top 5 spots, maybe there's only 2. Because as you say, I don't think those 3 at the top will slow down. If you look at FM Ponchon in this game, they got a few points here and there.
They do.
Too many on the board, but...
And that's the crucial thing. Even in your bad games, if you can maximize, if you can salvage, if you can get a few kills here and there, if not even placement, just 3, 4, 5 kills in your games you're not winning or not getting good placement points from, that's where the important thing is, especially over a set of 18 games.
All right, well, let's get going then. Thank you very much, Avenger. We have game number 2 on the way. It's excellent to see the Expendables already rising to the occasion. Day number 2 here for Group A. Let's move on to Miramar once again and the casters.
Game 1 was a banger. Let's see if we can follow up with game number 2. Plane path way more southern this time.
Oh boy, yeah, this plane path is not kind to some of these teams.
Yeah.
So there's going to be alt drops. This could be one of those scenarios where there's another unintentional hot drop besides the one that I'm pretty sure is going to happen in Chumacera again. But beyond that, maybe you're going to get a couple teams near Resort. I have seen on some of the maps that could be the alt drop for a couple different squads. Potentially, we'll see.
Half the squads.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this could be another scenario where I think things are going to get spicy, but then they just don't, other than this, of course.
Yeah, this has got to go down, but I would think that everybody would just long stretch to the north. You would hope that that's going to happen. JDG looks like they might be a bit more split on this drop. That might not be the worst idea, and it is going to be high ground again, or are we going to see a drop into the lower sections from JDG? Maybe. T1's got a little bit further of a track to go in, and looks like they're all just jockeying for drop locations. T1, full Wolfpack next to each other. Hope the loot's good, otherwise it could be a problem.
But yeah, they're in a precarious position. This is a nice change up from JDG in terms of getting a little bit of high ground, able to give yourselves the ability to fan out. Already saw a bolt in one of those hands there. That's a great gun in this scenario. You can back it up with like an AK, some of that stuff. We're going northeast with the circle. Not going to be the craziest of circles off that horrible plane path. But for now, JDG content to just try to loot up. But look at Raining.
Do it. Do it.
The VSS and the Panzer.
Dude,
I love this.
I'm just dude, he's going to tilt chat so hard with that weapon combination. Alcadzia apparently has a goal, and that goal is 7-7. Rello takes down D, but they do get 7-7 in the end. They should be able to also get D back up.
This is definitely a map read. This is a kind of something that Alcadzia definitely saw in the VODs.
Did they just blood sacrifice D so that way they could take down 7-7? It felt that way.
Yeah, why not? You know, that's kind of, you know, what you got to do with the rookies. You got to haze them a little.
Yeah,
you know?
Hey, stand right back behind the Panzer.
I need you to stick your head in front of this Panzerfaust for me.
It makes the Panzerfaust work better, I promise.
Just look at it, yeah.
You know, just like put your hands right back behind it, funnels in and makes it go faster.
If you hold on to it, it'll be like, you know, you just carry it with you. You'll go rocketing.
You get some of the points for the kill, I promise.
Oh, well, all's well that ends well. But that right there definitely screams to me that they've been watching the way 17 drops, that they always send one player out somewhere in one of those compounds around Picado, and that you can pick on 17 a little bit. But the good news for 17 is you're probably going to be able to get the blue chip if Alcadzia doesn't destroy it.
Cold wanting to cool down this hot drop a bit more. This is a much more technical drop, as we've seen them get a gun, retreat, get to the high ground, so that way he can feed the information over. And look, he's already spotted out the T1 line. He's going to be able to use that, get that information over to his teammates, and they could really see if they can at least rally some of this Chumacera situation, or at least just get looted and get out. I almost feel like JDG would take a moral victory in that. Not even fighting T1, just getting something and being able to go on their merry way.
Or if you can at least hamper T1 enough that they're not going to go and then, you know, rack up 10 kills and get get placement points to boot, put themselves into 4th place overall, currently in position to go into the grand finals directly. Like, this could not be going worse for JDG right now in terms of where we sit right now. Now, who knows, in this game, maybe JDG ends up winning this fight, and it's a little bit more of a feels-good man.
At least it's not as going as bad as Gen G.
You're not
Which is
wrong.
Interesting, considering who is it the T1's hot dropping again? What are the squads? We've got JDG on one side of it, and
4 a.m.
and the other one. Where the
they're not doing so good.
Yeah, that's. I feel pretty good about it. They're also going to feel pretty good about that angle. Oh, T1. JDG had information, and they thought they could make something happen, and T1 reads it and kills them.
And they still have a Panzer floating around here in case there was a follow-up. Good luck. I mean, they tried to catch him off guard, but, you know, you have that AK right there, and it gets that first knock, then you got the backup, and forget it.
No, guys, don't crawl towards Cold to give away his position. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And now look at T1. They're on the hunt. Ooh, Cold, though. Okay, got the knock with the AUG. Raining didn't have the Panzer at ready.
Peek it again. He wants you to peek it again. Ooh. I don't know if that got much damage or if any at all.
A little.
A little bit. Cold's good. He's still got December the 12th as well. Looks like they're trying to go a bit more pinched. Heather might have a read on that, already trying to wait for it to see if anybody crosses. And
ooh, the timing, though.
Direction, yeah. This is all going to be about PUBG timing if Heather spots it or if he looks away at the wrong time. Cold gets spotted. I think Heather spots December 12th. There you go.
Yeah, this fight should be just about done at this point. I mean, Cold's going to have to pull out a miracle. I don't see any teams trying to third-party this. Okay, that's a decent start, but no overcommit from T1.
Cold's just playing for himself at this stage. Get a point, get something. Find some way to make this not as bad as it feels. And Cold, it just feels bad. You can see it's full stress. He has no idea where anybody's coming from. So outnumbered. Everything feels open. Smokes are starting to dissipate. He doesn't even get to take a shot back, really.
This is starting to get brutal.
Yeah, this hurts.
I mean, that's another clean wipe for T1 with plenty of time to do something more in this game. I don't know what's going on with Gen G.
Just don't go near the Expendables, Gen G. Leave them alone.
They're just not reading situations well at all. This one, strange to me. Just rolling up right next to the Expendables. I mean, I understand the Expendables aren't impossible to predict, but they're just really not doing a good enough job with their scouting, with their kind of read of the maps, everything seems to be going wrong.
Yeah, and like, not trying to pick on Genji, I can't quite figure out what the goals that they're after sometimes. And there might be something that they're trying to innovate or figure out something for themselves, but it feels like they just keep putting themselves right into a meat grinder spot, and it's just so hard to fight your way out of those spots.
The only thing I can think, and I talked about this earlier, is that they had a read coming into this tournament on what the meta would be and how they could play around that. Look at the car goes flying too. Ripperino. But for Genji, I mean, I have to assume it's just a bad meta read, and they're just not kind of figuring it out.
It also kind of sucks because we were seeing a bit of a resurgence for Genji, right? Whenever we were looking at some of the different events throughout the year, whatever was working suddenly just stopped.
Yeah. Well, again, I think it's a very different early game methodology that's hurting them, where they're not being diligent enough. I think they're taking gambles on some, kind of reads in the middle of the circle and things like that. But let's hear from Bean, see what he has to say about it.
대회 초반이라 게임 분위기를 잘 못 읽었던 것 같고 첫날 치러보면서 좀 얻어간 게 많은 것 같아서 남은 날은 좀 잘 마무리할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 뭐 사실 전략의 변화는 크게 없을 것 같고 그냥 오늘 했던 거 잘 피드백하면 데이2에서는 좋은 경기력 가지고 올 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Yeah.
You guys just saw, you didn't see me and Paper just kind of look at each other and be like, so what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I hope he's trolling.
Yeah, that's...
What? You took the ammo, but you didn't take the gun? Get the gun! Oh, it's on the ground.
Yeah, okay.
There it is. Okay, Lou.
They
You
just
had
want
me.
Lou to have it. Yeah.
I was gonna have to become a Lou hater if he didn't take it. You got to take the AWM.
Do you think did somebody else maybe just see it and then go, hey, Lou, this is for you, and left it over there for
That
us?
could be. That's probably what happened. Yeah. They're like, well, I'm taking the armor. You can have the gun.
Can somebody give one to Delwyn after the way he was hitting those shots in the last game?
Oh, all of the Expendables. Everybody on the Expendables was just banging.
Yeah, but then there was Tanvu with a bazillion and a half kills in a game.
Well, he is the best player on the planet right now, in my opinion.
He's scary. That's all you can really say. And also one of the nicest guys.
Oh, the whole team. Incredibly nice dudes.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just like they bring this energy around them. Like, you see them whenever they're playing and the cameras, they're all, like, cemented in and serious. But if you get a chance just to bump into them, they're just always, like, laughing, joking around. There's always a joke to be made and always a smile to put on somebody's face.
Yep.
They're just super nice guys.
Yep, exactly. I mean, Tanvu, he's shown us that he can do anything. Just literally anything. I don't know what more that the Expendables has in their back pocket. It seems like they're always finding new ways to surprise.
How about take it from the group stage into the grand final?
Yeah, please.
This strategy works really, really well, but once the lobby gets a bit harder, these wider splits that they do, the things that work here become exploitable, and they do become a bit more expendable at that stage.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think it'll be tougher for sure, especially with the way that Group B is looking and so the EMEA-heavy stack at the top of that group.
I think you hit on an interesting point. It's really the Expendables game right now is, can they make the lobby play like them, because then they can win, or can somebody else slow it down?
What in the world is that shift on phase 2?
Okay. Sharper, great position. Looks like they're going to go right up along the coast. Genji's just going, man. Just try to find something. GK on the other side. Diffx not going to even let him get onto the stairs.
It's just going bad to worse. Everywhere Genji goes, there's players there waiting. They're happy to collect these points. Diffix was going crazy. Bean finally shows up, puts an end to his reign of terror. But guess what? The rest of GK's arriving.
Okay, Bean, see how the strategy works out. You're outnumbered, but you might be able to turn it. Does get the knock on a 1. He's taking a little bit of damage. Goes for the shotties. There we go. Genji finding something.
Okay, never mind. They're trapped there with Bean. Not the other way around. I thought T1 might think about third-partying that. Instead, they're busy dealing with 17, Lil Ghost. Maybe they didn't see T1's parachutes. I don't know. But they went for that. Maybe thought they could catch him on a timing or something. Instead, they're going to start paying the price. They're losing players left and right. Guman, though, getting lit up by Furia. And they're hunting him down, it looks like.
17 was in some trouble until Furia took those shots at the Freaks. That was a very dangerous approach that they were going for, and at least managed to stop off kind of. But 17 hearing those shots has gone a bit more west. That's going to put them pretty close to where a couple other members for the Freaks are at. They've got to be careful. With the way that this terrain is set up, teams are just going, okay, we've got to go for something along this coastline that's going to be playable. It's worth the fight now rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is such an unbelievably awful circle shift that you're left with bad options as the outside teams. Do you try to make a wide wrap to see if you can maybe get to a side of the circle that nobody was at? Do you just go for points? I think going for points is absolutely a fair call in a situation like this. Like if Twisted Minds just wanted to, you know, start getting aggressive, just go for third parties, like that is 100%, I think, what they should be doing.
Summon your inner T1. It's
Yeah.
just points time, baby. Who cares about placement points? We just got to get those kill points. And most of the teams in some form of safety. I mean, PWD's pretty safe. Unless,
Not as safe as it gets.
I mean, I don't even know, like, how would you even get damage onto him at this point?
I don't know.
Everything is safe.
Yeah, you can see he's just, yeah.
Oh, Namiga don't. There's like one angle with the rocks that he can look down. You can see it in front of him.
Yep.
Gedrox, please don't walk through that one spot. That would be such a feels bad.
It would. He'd just be dead. He'd have no idea. That would be unfortunate. Delwyn doing a little bit of damage here as Alcazia is finding a nice angle. They did a good job scouting this out.
Yeah.
I saw them wrapping around through the fields, and they're going to open up a little bit extra space for themselves, get into a little bit of safety for now. It could be a little tricky to get out of there, but actually they open up a wide rotation to the coast if they absolutely need to. So I don't mind this at all for Alcazia. I'll be curious to see what their ideas are off the back of this, but actually I think they can pivot pretty well if they need to.
Yeah, they've got the road, the coastline. Even if they have to, they can wrap along the fields. So they've got tons of options with the amount of water that we still have. And this is phase number 2, and this feels like such a tiny, tiny circle. I mean, we still have most of that other island in play. No, chat, it's not happening. Don't worry. But this is odd because down to the south, it's a lot more contested. Up to the north, FN Pochon's got some control. But I mean, Sharper, the circles just followed him, man. They're happy. They get their coastlines. What do you want? This is time to fight.
This is going to end by the road.
What do you think? 20 people left after the circle, maybe?
Yeah, about that.
There's just nowhere to go.
I mean, like literally, teams are going to have to just force themselves onto the coast, whatever little dips they can find. Everybody else, I mean, again, Twisted, if just start fighting. I mean, I think that's absolutely the right play here. Look for those opportunities.
17 wants nothing to do about what's going to happen in the west. They're hopping in vehicles, just hoping that they can run by it all. T1 might spot out some. Oh no, E-Arena, the timing on this is terrible for their rotate.
I don't know if Shen realizes if he's put the pieces together. He's watching another car drive by, opts to go to try to combine fire with the rest of the team onto that one. They might have popped a tire. They did.
Yeah, Naren's in trouble. Is that hay bale going to be enough? No. Oh, the car hasn't stopped. There's another hay bale. Oh, okay. He's fine for now with an Astros on it.
I got a little golf clap out of the crowd, too. I like that. It's like, hey, you didn't die. Good job.
And T1 and Twisted close to each other, but Tulin's down. Ian's going to get that one easy, but he's down in the valley. Easy shots for Perfectix.
Yeah, I mean, 1 for 1 for each team. Just giving each other points. You know, for Twisted and T1, you're sitting pretty on the leaderboard, so not the end of the world for either squad. Obviously, T1 already raking in tons of kills, 6 in this one. Twisted would love to get a little bit further into this if they can. They're getting danger close to Freaks territory. Salute in Heaven going to be the ones closest to this, but they don't have angles into it yet.
Oh, Orchid. Due south, they actually do have a path that's pretty good. Salute does spot out example. That's
spoke too soon.
That's going to be kind of how this goes. How cooked is the nade? It's going to be a little bit of a recessed hill. It's going to have to bounce and roll down through. So
too far.
Twisted does retreat. The Expendables are roaming back behind this. Duck Juice is actually out of his vehicle and has spotted this. He's taking shots into the backside of the res. How are the Expendables in every firefight?
Because they are so good at reading the maps, reading the kill feed, understanding what's happening where, when, and why, and what they can do about it. I mean, they're just so smart. It's crazy.
That's so frustrating because I think Perfectix just went to go res Batulin's at truck stop, so it's just take one down, pass it around. Namiga playing close, coast to close. I don't necessarily blame him. That's where you got to go. Expendables rolling forward. Delwyn going to be the point man at the top. He does go down. Corey's going to be back behind. Tanvu just kind of taking shots at anything that shoots at them. DL seeing if maybe he can get a knock onto the Expendables, but a lot of damage coming out. Of course, it's Tanvu that hits him for 57.
Yeah, nice. Nice spray from Heaven on that first car. Yeah, this is going to end somewhere near Furious compound. It feels like almost for sure for the Freaks. Now, if they can just keep these edges clean, they're going to give themselves another good opportunity to get deep into a game. Miramar has been a map that has absolutely plagued the Freaks this year at all the PGSs. They have really struggled. But here today, seems like kind of a safer, more steady approach has been netting a profit. 7-7U are they're just screwed.
Nothing you can do. Just send it. Get something out of it. Tries to roam up, and it's Furia on defense. Can't spot. Oh, almost overlooked that Gizera. I mean, that's a big gun. Easy to spot. Like, you know, somebody can kind of hide out in that little location for it. Human spotting out the Expendables and trying to keep their rotate forward. Looks like they want to jump on the other side of Furious compound.
Yeah, he runs out of bullets, though, so can't really punish them the way you would like. Duckju spun out. He gets him tagged a bit. Orchid returns the favor there. Boostic clips a little bit of damage into Gumin, but nothing really too dangerous. Meanwhile, oh, we've seen this before, Matt.
Yeah.
We have seen this before.
And I want to give a shout out to the players. I thought in this last circle we would be down to like 20 people. That's what I said going in the circle. We're still at like 46. These guys are finding ways to survive, and it doesn't feel good, but somehow we are just getting this circle clustered with people.
Well, you've still got about 15 players outside of the circle. But just look at Batu, though, man. He is, if he survives and gets like placement points again.
Here comes again. Type.
Oh, God heaven, man.
Oh.
And he got the knock and kill on a Delwyn too, dude. He is feeling it this game.
This is this circle in a nutshell. Just Orchid, 4-man stack. Hey, there's a dip over here. Nobody's in this area, though. So with the kind of the firefighting that we've seen coming out from the Freaks and the Expendables being more aggressive in their rotate, they managed to steal something away. South is a lot more congested, so Alcazia is just going to use this bit of a hill along the road to try to get away from Sharper, but that puts them next to Namiga. They manage to round past that. They're running right into the center of the circle. Batulins is already in the center. He could find himself with some company real fast.
Okay, they're actually going to take a little bit of the dips, but yeah, Batulin's in trouble.
No.
Oh, Escaluzia still kicking.
Oh,
takes down Rello. He's got a pan.
I know. He's got a pan. You got to hold on to it.
If he gets a kill with this,
I dare it.
It's just.
I just want to know, are they going to even go for it? Cowboy, let's try to smoke it off. They want to get their friends back together. Batulins, can you just ruin somebody with this? This is going to be hilarious.
The funny thing is he actually could have like run into that other shack and like bonked Cowboy while he was throwing smokes, but obviously that's
there's too many of them now, Batsu. What do you do? Look at the focus on this man's face. He hears
Is
it.
Furia going to keep him out of this thing, though?
He hears it. He hears it. Ah, take it to the face. Punchy punch. No! Batu, you're the hero in my heart, though.
Roth is pissed. Roth is like, what is that?
You know Roth had a near-on heart attack.
Dommage.
Nailed him in the face.
All right.
Dommage.
Freak Salute got knocked. He's out, way out in Narnia compared to the rest of his team. And Gen G's still in this game, actually, despite those early woes they had because Bean went friggin' nuclear earlier. But
I feel bad for Lou. Lou doesn't even get to have fun throwing pans at people's faces. He's just stuck out in the blue right now.
See, this is what frustrates me about the Freaks on this map is they send players out into areas that are dangerous, and then they lose, a player when they don't really need to. They had no reason that they needed to give up. They have so much circle control, and then they send Salute down there, and he gets picked off. It's just things like that kind of make you scratch your head a bit.
Pochon never done. Breakers, of course. Spotting out Lou. That's going to be a nice knock. This has gotten a bit more clustered than I was expecting. 4 Angry Men going to be roaming right next to E-Arena, and they're trying to step into the circle. 4 Angry Men just sends it, prays, hopes they can get something. DL's hoping that he can get something off of this nade as well. Peeks around the other side, reads it perfectly. Gen G is finally done.
Yeah, nice pre-fire there from DL. Knowing his opponent was
Because
going to be wrapped on the other side, just held the trigger down. Knew he had a little bit of help and a little bit of cover. FN, this is what they love to do. Fight on the edge, kind of wait out the blue as much as possible. Start taking good fights. Star-Lord breaks it open.
Breakers take some damage. Opons wants this. Right along the blue zone wall, pops up. Wrong timing. Opons punishes it.
Yeah, he just was already so weak there, had to go for it. Couldn't connect anything. Got players out in the open there. Opons catches a little bit into Zenith, but could not get the knock as Lou still doing stuff for Twisted. I mean, man, they can just hold on a little bit longer. Could get into placements.
It's such a hard battle, but maybe he can do it. Evan Pochon, not one to relent any points around them. Zenith does go down. That's actually going to be Cowboy. From behind is getting a lot more dangerous. Irina now getting harassed by Namiga. This Namiga is coming in from the south. Looks like they're going to just kind of compress right onto Irina. Alcadzia is actually leaving the Batu Shacks. They're running after FN and Irina, both realizing that there are some points. This is just a focal point. It is going to be Lyrics that does finish it off, but he has too many people in company right next to him. And now Alcadzia is going to run right into Namiga in an outnumbered fight.
Yeah, they didn't realize that Namiga was going to be pushing on the other side of his hill. Cowboy at least gets one, takes a ton of damage. Now D has to step up to the plate, see what he can do.
So many nades prepped. He's got a lot of information, but there's just too many targets. Tries to line in. D down to 1 HP. Blue Zone back behind him. He can't really stop. More utilities just being thrown on top of him. Namiga doing a good job of trying to rally after getting pounced on.
This is just a little unfortunate for Alcadzia. Wanted those points so bad, but so did Namiga. Oh, you catch him going for the res!
Oh, so much damage, but Namiga now starting to have to limp their way into the circle. Cowboy wants to see if he can finish the job. There's more points over there for him. 5 right now. Tries to go from some peaks down, a couple of jukes between. Cowboy still continuing to line in more, and Namiga down to just 1.
What was that, Cowboy? A little bit of a head juke there, but not going to be good enough. Leash had the health advantage, had a stun that had to be turned as well. So nice work there by Namiga. They're going to collect a lot of points here on this edge and actually have the ability to get into this next circle potentially. It's going to take a couple smokes, but they can get into that shack that Alcadzia had left. It's wide open.
Fury's got themselves a compound in the circle. The Expendables have a compound in the circle. To the west, it's going to be Orchid. To the southwest, it's going to be the Freaks. And then the due south is going to be Sharper, while Namiga is trying to get their meds back up in order before they have to cross in from the east over a road. Open territory with a hillside on the other side of it. That's going to be hard.
It's not fun, but it could be doable here, actually. There's a little bit of a dip here you can use as a staging area real quick to, again, get out some of the smokes, get some of the util, get the heals up, and be ready. Looking down at the Freaks at the bottom, yeah, they were trying to gatekeep Sharper a little bit here on this edge. You can see it's a wide open field underneath, but Sharper has enough room that they can maneuver around it a bit. Now it gets a little bit dicey for the Freaks because they're getting closer. Some of these other teams, however, they have a little bit of space, but you've got Orchid above.
Yeah, Orchid with those rocks, and now they're going to have Sharper's Thunders behind them. This is just nowhere you can really go. Shin's not even opting to like look this direction, as Solo just kind of hiding out right now. If anything, he could pop off depending on how Sharper wants to come after this. Freaks, ooh, Nate's so close. It's going to be enough to finish off Human, and Orchid with the high ground, Sharper back behind Freaks. They just feel trapped, and they are.
Yep. Now, this is the consequence of having to go and deal with Gen.G underneath them. They ceded this space to Orchid, essentially, because they had to do that. So it's the knock-on effect of some of those kind of overextensions that they had earlier. It's not the end of the world for the Freaks. They're still doing okay in this game. I mean, 5 kills, you're getting placement points. If you could survive a little bit longer here as DL, that'd be great, but I don't think Orchid has any intention of letting him do that.
Yeah, they've already got 2 members close range, shifted down the hill. They know that they've got control on this avenue. There's like a dip that they can kind of run down into. DL is just a matter of time. It's going to be Sharper that actually takes it away. Sharper is now going to be more free to play over in the east. Namiga has now made it to the road as well, and they don't want to cross it. Shin wants nobody from the Sharper to come after them and is thanking Furia for taking the shots at Sharper.
Yeah, and Furia just can chill. They don't need to do too much here. They've been able to take these compounds early, been sitting in the center of this circle for quite some time after it hard shifted over to the water. And just gonna need to lock down, keep Namiga out. But the problem is you got the Expendables above you. And you know they've got something in store for you. You know, a C4, who knows? Oh, here we go, though. Namiga starting to get cut down.
Yeah, it's just a crossfire situation. Orchid got some vision on them as well as Sharper. Sharper now has an opportunity to try to get into the circle. Let's not forget about Shin. Danger close to him. They don't know. Orchid's got that one member, Magori, very far to the south. Also something to keep an eye on. To the north, The Expendables do have to path into the circle. How are they going to go? Fury is just beat it in right now, down onto Sharper and Namiga both. But Orchid, looking at Namiga, has kind of cut off the Expendables' path. So the Expendables don't have a path to get in this the way that they wanted to.
Yeah, well, they're just going to try to finish off Namiga. Ooh, Tanvu actually takes the worst end of that for sure. Got headshot.
Too used to bolties.
Yeah, dude, put him back and get him back. Probably would have won that battle if he had a bolty. Just saying.
Duck Juice frustration taking out tires. Seeing what they can get. Namiga has to go and, oh God, look at how low their health is. And they just have to send it down into Sharper. Sharper was getting in vehicles at the same time. Easy layup. Sharper just makes it look clean. Bouncing between this rock. Spots off in the distance. Just nothing Namiga can do.
Yeah, tough spot to be in for sure. And now Furia getting involved onto Sharper. They revealed their presence, and Furia has 5 kills already. Man, Earth is just going crazy this week.
Earth is a bully, man. Just going nuts. These guys uphill, no fear, just taking down threat upon threat. We do have an interesting situation.
No
I was going to say, Shin has got a bit to a danger spot. He is going to go down. Magori is going to spot him. This opens up the entirety of the circle. There's only really Furia inside of it. The Expendables now have to make a push into the zone, and they spotted out the fact that maybe one of the Orchid players is playing too far away, and they want to push after it.
No, they know that the Orchid is on the back foot. They can catch up to them. I love the way the Expendables is just bouncing edge to edge here, just clearing space for themselves. They've given themselves entry into the next zone. Now Orchid turning their attention forward, doing some damage to the Expendables. That'll stall them up here momentarily, and that's going to open things up here. Furia still Gizera locking down Sharper very, very nicely. As solid as Earth has been, no longer terra firma for him.
Drops down to his belly, has to crawl forward. He's nowhere near the safe zone yet. Magori wants to pin him down, and he's done a good job on that. Furia, Orchid, as well as the Expendables, all getting into a bit of a dust-up, fighting over a smidgen of territory, thinking maybe they can hold out the Expendables. It's Furia and Orchid both taking pot shots in on them, and that stopped the Expendables in their tracks.
This Expendables fight just brought the other two teams that aren't Furia the opportunity to get their reses in. Still, Furia happy to deal with probably the most dangerous team they had left in the Expendables.
That's how you do it, right? You just get 2 teams to go against the Expendables, and then you can
Ils sont un peu à l'abri, il y a 83 points.
That's all it takes.
Well, I mean, it was 2.5, so, or 1.5.
Ah, okay.
So you just need 6 players. It's okay.
That's all you need.
Sharper. They got the res. Can they sneak in, though, Paper? This is so hard.
I don't think so, but, you know, you never know. Yeah, that's probably going to be another knock. It should be. Wow.
Hey, at least got to the shield. Like, small miracles, right?
Yeah, you know, the thing is he's probably resable if nobody throws a nade, which only Orchid has nades. Well, the blue, though.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, you can kind of deny a point on this. Well, I think that maybe what they were thinking, but Fury is just not going to let that one happen. Okay, that sets us up into a 4v3. Furia having to contain Sharper does mean that they lost a lot of the circle. Orchid's got control over it, but Orchid only has 3 members.
And maybe going to try to be a little bit more proactive now that they have the opportunity to be so. Lurix tries to get up onto the high ground, but Furia has a couple guns angled in that direction. And I'm kind of curious what Orchid wants to do here. Is it going to be, they're going to double up maybe on this northern push.
Both at 7 kills. Orchid, 53 points in 4th. 8th place Furia just at 45, 8-point difference. This is a big game. Orchid can get some space away from Furia, or Furia can jump up and start chasing after Orchid in those upper positions. Orchid's holding the high ground. Looks like they're playing this a lot slower, hoping the fact that maybe Furia might try to wrap along the zone wall itself, in which case Orchid can catch him out. Boostik's going to be playing low. Boostik is a powerhouse. He's playing isolated.
Yeah, you're going to need a big step up from somebody here on Orchid. Get that double kill. Even up the numbers, potentially. Grenades are out.
Hey, here comes the push. Gizera's been stacking up kills. Counter moves going around, but no. Furia finds it at the start. Looks back down the hillside. It's ours now. That's going to send Orchid down in lower sections, but that still gives them circle control. Doritos not going to be a lot of cover for the time being. Magori, Boostik, both bounce it back, but Pose has got one of his own.
All right, now you got to maybe slow it down, and Boostik can't let that happen, so he's got to get a little bit aggressive. Finds another headshot, almost gets a knock.
Got to be careful. Trying to push up this hillside. He's going to have so many vulnerabilities. Does get spotted. Kraken just lays it down, but it goes back and forth. Big game for Furia.
Oh my gosh, that was so close. Orchid gave it everything they had in the end, but that extra man advantage for Furia just enough as they're able to fan out. And yeah, Orchid 2 games in a row where they're so close, but the good news for them is their standings are going way up.
Yeah, dude, these guys have been popping off. Furia now in the hunt. This has just become a chase in this lobby. It is so chaotic, and the points just don't feel like they're getting separated enough. The Expendables are feasting up at the top, but it's just getting so dicey for everybody else.
It's madness right now here in Group A.
Down to the wire, but it's a furious haul for Furia against the boosted boy over on the other side here. Orchid is trounced at the very end, and Furia reigns supreme for the America's Avenger.
Yes, that shift on the northern side, the amount of control they had on that compound from the get-go. But I love the way they played it. They were out aggressively, they were taking space, they were defending their area. They were making sure that that western side, or well, eastern side eventually was theirs.
Yeah.
Taking out Sharper too. Sharper, another deep run here, I like that. TE, still 4 points, the placement's 5 for Sharper, so that's still decent, but they got absolutely destroyed. They shouldn't have lost one player trying to get over to the ridge. This should have been all 4 alive. That's one thing that I'm a little bit sad about. I love the attempt from Betulins. What do you think though, a headshot with a thrown pan on a level 2 helmet, shouldn't that have insta-knocked him? It didn't.
No.
Only 80 to them.
Oh, so you're debating whether or not it should. Right, yeah.
A thrown pan, I feel like that would knock you out.
Oh, Betulins knows that you've got to get off of there and get a punch in as well.
So
but
throwing it and then immediately jumping down to try to punch him.
Roth was very quick on the trigger for that one. Good for him. And then surprised.
He was like, what?
What's going on over
Je fais une
here?
petite pause pipi, je reviens.
I have to agree with you. I like the control that they exemplified. And it's not even just the East and the West that they controlled.
Yes.
Being able to deny a cheeky Expendables move in from the North as well, I think was absolutely pivotal to a game plan, because there's too many potential threats if you're not dealing with them at exactly the right time. And Furia was able to do that handedly.
Their timing on all their engagement was perfect. It was not, they didn't get third party too many times.
Correct.
They engaged, you know, one by one, as you're talking about here, especially with the Miga, with the Alcacia, like the timing on T, like, it was perfect.
I like that box.
If any of them had been, you know, had a better timing, they would have had a third party timing on them. But they were so fast in finishing their fights. They were so quick in kind of their timing to every entry on other teams, right? So they could just ramp it up perfectly, stay, you know, as a full format for the entirety of the match. Like, this is perfect.
Tough circle though, right? Let's be real. You know, even before, I think it was circle 3, right? You still have about 45 to 50% of water still in a circle like that. We didn't mind some of the moves that some of the teams were making, like Nemiga, for example, along the shoreline.
Perfect.
To get a few kills here and there. They're doing all right currently in the middle of the table.
I also love the Alcacia ascent, you know, all the way up through the road, up to get 3 guys alive into the kind of center shack. They got some points for that. They got some kills. They got some placement. Like, it's this exact kind of moment where, like, okay, let's try to maximize here. Let's not engage in a fight where we're eventually going to lose. It's going to put us in there. I don't know. What did they spell there?
I don't know.
Mega.
Like menu. Maybe they're hungry or something.
I think so.
I'm not sure. But anyway, they got themselves 20 points. They were voracious for the points as they do take that #1 spot. Team Orchid, once again, some decent points for them. 13 go their way. And Sharper's still constantly in the conversation, Martin.
Yeah, they're in there, getting the points that they're supposed to. But I'll say this, though. 2 kills only for a third place. It's not enough. They should have been in a spot where they could have gotten a little bit more, especially with the, like, when Alcacia was driving through. They should have gotten 1 or 2 of the kills. You know, they kept people alive there. But only 2 teams here to get double-digit games. A lot of the other teams are getting, you know, their worth. They're getting their 7 to 4 points. They're maximizing salvaging.
And as we said, when it came to total leaderboard for this group, that middle pack is close to one another, to the point where now 4th and 5th, a complete shift, a complete change. Team Orchid and Furia have been able to take that 4th and 5th spot right now, knocking off T1 and Al Ghazia.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. From 13th and up to 4th, 21 points only. Like, the mid-pack is just one big feast of teams trying to chase down, right? And all the teams, if you're in your 40s right now, like even from 11th up to 5th, we're talking 10 points only, James. It is one decent game, and you're jumping 5 placements.
Can I do what I want to do?
Yes,
Can I do it? What is China doing? What is going on with China?
They're currently, all teams are currently in the bottom 5, down with Gen G and GK.
I feel like it shouldn't be this way. If anything, 17 Gaming is normally the hope of China. Yeah. They're looking a little bit lost in the pack alongside 4 Angry Men and JDG.
And especially now that we've played 2 more Miramars, they have Picado and Pachinki. Just based on those 2 locations, their experience, their tenure, their mechanical skill, they should be heavy up in the mid-pack or even contending for the top.
I think in part, a little bit of the reckoning is coming from T1 with these hot drops, and they keep winning them. They're winning it out on Miramar, winning it out on Erangel against 4AM. I need to see these hot drops change personally. But anyway, that's by the by. We can talk about that later on. It is time for a break. When we return, we have the wildcard maps here for PGC Group A Day 2.
Fueled by the same passion as esports athletes, Zowie continuously develops tailored products, empowering gamers to bring their best out. Today, we are launching the all-new XL2566X Plus, which uses the newly developed Fast TN panel and upgraded Diac 2 technology. The new monitor series continue to evolve, refining details to ensure players can perform their best consistently in games.
Satellites. We built them to master the climate. They told us this was to stabilize the environment. I thought we were helping people, but it was a lie. It was a device for their entertainment. Their grand plan was to push the battle to the breaking point, to make the battlegrounds a brutal, unadulterated slaughter for their entertainment.
are you not entertained? Because, man, we have had some crazy games to start with. I mean, pans. Only having a pan as a weapon happened inside the last game. Firefights, coastlines, crazy circles. Loving it.
I mean, this has just been a great start to the day. Miramar delivers once again, and you get all kinds of fun stuff. You get bolts from the expendables. You get, just the absolute madness of that circle. Furia coming through with a really nice win there in a position that, yes, is strong. Yes, is center circle for most of that game, but they reached out and got a bunch of kills. They started to get proactive when they needed to, doing all the right things. When you're gifted those games, that's where you got to make your points.
Yeah, and it was just a really, weird in circle too, because we didn't have a chance to dive into it because of how some of the action was. We had those compounds, and then immediately to the south of them there was the hillside raise that was pretty steep that led into that slow sloping hillside that's had all those trenches in it. That's how Jin managed to survive for so long. But it also meant that there just wasn't a lot of clean angles to play from, and so it was like a little king of the mountain kind of firefight where everybody was just kind of trying to keep control over that and then keep control over the whole circle.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in if you're not up on that high ground as that game progresses, because there actually is quite a bit of angles that teams can take into you, so it becomes really hard to sled up there, as you saw with Sharper, you saw with the Freaks. And again, little mistakes will cost you in a game like that, and that's something that Furia did not really make until the very end, when maybe they gave Orchid a little bit of hope, but overall they were still able to lock it down with that extra man advantage. I'm seeing literally almost every team represented in these signs. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 4 AM fans. I mean, obviously there's Sharper fans.
17 fans.
Just everybody's represented, dude. I mean, I've seen fans for FaZe, Na'Vi. It's crazy.
I saw a FaZe flag. Somebody had a full FaZe, not I'm just going to draw something, but had one they had purchased and was holding it up and waving it, whatnot. Oh, Batu. Thank you again, Batu. I know, Batu wasn't happy about being in that situation, but I don't know how he keeps fighting him. These I have no loot and I just have to kind of chill situations, but thank you.
He's just he just is such a smart player. That's all. That's the only way you can get yourself into those spots.
And entertaining.
He is entertaining as hell. I mean, just what a moment there. The funniest part of it was Roth's reaction. Him just throwing up his hands like, you've got to be kidding.
Bumped into him at the break. Roth was like, what? What was even happening there? I also, big shout out to Roth during the walkouts. I love the fact that he actually went full Super Saiyan yell to try to get the crowd hyped. Another great entertainer and player at the same time.
Oh, he is one of those players who wears his emotions on his sleeve,
Loudly, and I love
loudly.
I respect
and proudly.
I relate.
I do too. I mean, and the best part about Roth is you go, you catch him outside the hotel or whatever, and he will chat with you for days. And he is just so interesting and so well thought out, and just why he's been such a great player is he takes this stuff so seriously, and he will talk to you about it anytime you want.
A couple of Sharper signs out there, and respect. I mean, Earth Palui, Esclusa just popping off, man. Sharper has been on a rise, and I respect it. They're playing, again, disadvantaged position in that last game, and still just trying to cling to life, find ways, trying to find some advantages for themselves, and just consistent on this leaderboard.
Yeah, again, it's confidence for them. They picked it up on day one, and they're continuing it here on day two of this group. They're really just not afraid to do what they need to do to get in, into the late stages of the game, to take a fight when they absolutely have to. So that's really so impressive for that Thai squad, who just barely squeaked into this event, and they're making the most of it. The Freaks need to right themselves. I mean, they should be fine. Again, Miramar's always been a struggle for them. I think you could take today as a win for the Freaks in terms of improvement on that map, because you got deeper into the games.
Well made. Look at that.
Yeah, those are some sick signs, dude. And they're salute DL FN fans. So not sure if they're from Korea or not, but regardless, those are very, very well-made fan signs.
The extreme close-up.
Extreme.
He's
the coach for Liquid. Sorry.
He's. Oh my God. I was about to make another joke and you just broke my brain. Victory is yours.
Thank
surrender.
you. Yes. I will take this one victory and.
Middle map time, though, right?
Yeah.
Gen.G, please do
something.
Your thing. JDG, this is something. Find something here. These are the maps where you need to find something, because once we move into this next game and we finish it, that's the halfway point for the group stage.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's bonkers is if a team, let's say like T1, does really nicely here on these next two maps, like, and then they still are getting hot dropped, like, the rest of the time, like, they're going to be in contention for a top 5 spot while being hot dropped on 2/3 of the maps.
Just feeding the opportunities for a Porsche MVP. Just go ahead. Let's just keep these hot drops going. I love it. Let's get more kills.
Yeah, Type is licking his lips, yeah.
He would like a Porsche.
He would. Who wouldn't?
It's interesting because, like, all the teams have already kind of talked about this, by the way. Like, okay, if we get it, because there is the option to, like, trade it for cash value. Most of the teams have actually said, we're actually not going to take it. We're just going to split it because we feel the MVP is a team award anyway.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of split the value amongst ourselves. And that kind of goes into the way a lot of these, like, teams are looking at how everything has been set up.
Yeah, no, it is like, it's so funny because this has been generally what happens in PUBG esports is that the MVP just takes that money and then evenly divides it amongst the rest of the team. I've heard that since day one.
Well, it is so hard to get everything set up, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get everything set up over here, so we're going to do a quick kind of break to get everything set up with this technical situation. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Fueled by the same passion as esports athletes, Zowie continuously develops tailored products, empowering gamers to bring their best out. Today, we are launching the all-new XL2566X Plus, which uses the newly developed Fast TN panel and upgraded Diac 2 technology. The new monitor series continue to evolve, refining details to ensure players can perform their best consistently in games.
This was never our purpose. You need to know the truth. These satellites, we built them to master the climate. They told us this was to stabilize the environment. I thought we were helping people, but it was a lie. It was a device for their entertainment. Their grand plan was to push the battle to the breaking point, to make the battlegrounds a brutal, unadulterated slaughter for their entertainment. But something went wrong, and the satellites are going to start shattering over Erangel. I don't know how long we'll have, but the weather will turn feral, beyond control. Erangel won't be the same again. Someone has to stop it before it's too late. If anyone is listening, save Erangel.
Oh, snowy Erangel. I'm so excited.
I am actually really excited for that. It's nice to have a snowy map that isn't Vikendi too.
I love how we have to have this big, huge lore reason for why Erangel, which is supposedly in Russia, has snow on it. Like, can't it just be winter sometimes?
Yeah, it can.
But instead, Tectonic has gotten control of all of the weather and planning a new thing. I want more lore, by the way.
I do too.
We keep teasing it. Give me more.
We keep like flirting with lore and then it never fully materializes.
Tease.
Just I would like to see a little bit fleshed out PUBG universe would be fun, but we're getting the games ready for you guys here very shortly. Just had a minor technical issue that we got to take care of, and then we'll be booting up as soon as we can. So thank you for holding on with us as we get everything squared away. Don't hot drop T1. That's all I'm going to say. Looking at them on our screen, just give up. Just stop.
Well, at least the teams that are presently doing it don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody's really had much success against them doing it.
Well, T1 is kind of in that 17 category. I don't know who's technically been hot dropped more at this stage, T1 or 17, because everybody kind of dropped for 17's positions for the longest time.
Yeah, and then they all just gave up.
Everybody kind of learned better. It's like, oh, this just isn't even worth. T1's positions, it feels like every single event they're fighting somebody for.
Yeah.
Time and time again, and they will not give up either. And they've gotten down hot dropping to a degree that's gotten really scary.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of having Sonic on your team, right? He's such a good coach in so many different aspects of the game. And one of the big ones is that he knows how to deal with these hot drops so well, and he's done it throughout his entire history as a coach. That just good luck. I mean, he knows how to kind of get people positioned. He knows how to get you to drop out of the plane at the proper point to get the best drops. Like, all those things are super important that often aren't thought about as thoroughly as maybe you would expect. But it's all these little things that matter in those hot drops.
Yeah, I imagine PUBG isn't one choice. I see a lot of people on social media talking about, it's like, oh, well, they should have just done this, or I don't like the IGL for X Squad because they do this one thing. There's like 50 different things that are happening, and trying to find different positions, there's a carryover from drop for which buildings you go to. There's a path that several of them you get into, and then how you regroup into vehicles. And then you start thinking about, okay, how are we attacking the circle? What's our rotation path? Where are the other teams inside of this lobby going to be at? It just gets to be a stack upon stack upon stack of things that you've got to track. And to be able to contain all of those right off of a plane into a hot drop is sometimes so difficult.
Exactly. There's so many little things like where the doors are located, what windows you can get in. All these things actually super important for hot drops.
What has the best loot density whenever you're going for
Yeah.
a drop, and somebody contesting me for it.
Is it on the high ground? There's all these things that matter.
Tons of things matter, but I think it looks like most of our guys are starting to pop up. We saw a bit of relaxation. Whenever chairs are reclined, that means that people are working on things. When the chairs pop up and everybody throws the headsets on, it's about go time.
Heck and yeah. We are going to Tego for our third map of the day. It is the middle maps now, and see if Tego has any odd surprises in store for us. We saw a little bit of weirdness.
All right, guys, it's time to wake up. We had a little bit of a breather, but the action don't stop. It's Tego time.
Heck and yeah. Yeah, a little bit of weirdness the last time we played this map with the drops and kind of questions about who Buxanza really belonged to. Things like that, but I assume that's gotten worked out as we take a nice look at the PUBG United with the Porsche, all of it coming together here in Thailand at the end of 2025. What a way to finish the year. So much exciting stuff going on.
Get yourself a Porsche car and ride in a Porsche plane right now. That's the only thing I can think of. It's got to be it, because that plane is sexy.
I don't think Porsche makes planes. Rolls-Royce does.
I know, but I'm just tying things in. It's a video game world. Paper.
That's true. We can dream.
Where rockets make snow.
Yeah, there you go. We can dream that
Porsche makes planes.
Yeah, we can dream.
That is the lore I have created.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, PUBG needs lore, so yeah.
Okay, Buxanza. Still spicy, and of course, it's Gen G caught in the meat grinder right next to Alcadzia. Gen G with a lot more to play for.
This is so important for Gen G. Exactly,
Yep.
Matt. This is a must-win hot drop, and Alcadzia knows it, and that's why they can flex their muscles here. You know, they're probably a little annoyed from yesterday how it went down, and they want to just slam the door on Gen G, who's in dead last place.
Cowboy spotted. Only has 30 rounds, so he wants to wait for the right angle. Gets some damage. Does get the knock. That is bad for Gen G at the start. A couple of angles now that they're trying to defend from, but any shots give some information over Flame. Now knows where Cowboy is at least.
And Alcadzia continues to be another team that's fearsome in these hot drops. I mean, when you've got Cowboy, when you've got D, you are just thriving. And you got the big brains of Rello and Roth there to guide them. And just put those two young guns to good use. And they shine time and time again.
Tosi's in an awkward spot. He's got a lot of vision over the Central Plaza area, but he's got two members that are sneaking up back behind him. That's going to make this a lot more complicated given his isolated position. One of the members for Gen G looks like they're trying to wrap all the way around, and it's going to be Orca. I think that we saw Orca with a bit longer of range. Did he have the Dragunov in his hands or something like that a moment ago?
I didn't catch it.
So, Roth, he has a way to deal with some early game firefighting. And, oh, no, that's getting pretty close to Leosh. Nemiga looks like they might want to pounce on the back of this.
It's an M24 here, a bolt for Orca. And that's going to be Tosi caught out there. A little bit of room to maneuver here. Oh, my God. Poor Orca.
Yeah, Gen G, this is two different squads saying we do not want to have anything to do with you. Leosh walking forward. Orca's caught up looking directly in front of him. Bullets go out, but does it get the knock? Can the follow-up shots connect? And they do! While this is going on, D for Alcadzia also got spotted out by Levante. He went down and was flushed.
This is becoming disaster. And I even see Furia angling towards this fight now as well. So this is becoming an absolute mess at Buksansa. Cowboy actually is going to claim that point at the very least here for Alcadzia. And he's getting tagged on the way back, but Leosh just not quite able to connect there. 4x tapping with the M4. And there's a knock for Gedrox. Shows up with an M249 and immediately dispatches Tosi.
This is big points for Nemiga if they can get back on this one. Alcadzia is now caught between several teams that want to try to usurp them or at least get more distance away from them, because you can see that this is still very contested in this middle range. Remember, a lot of these squads are aiming for the top 5, so securing those points along those lines, where Alcadzia is sitting at 51 points in 7th. Nemiga is going to be down at 46th in 9th. Fury is going to be ahead of that at 52 points, just 1 point ahead of Alcadzia after they just picked up these 2 kills.
Well, it's a Kraken. Might get the spots onto Alcadzia. The trees were obscuring. He might see Roth here. Yep, he should have. I think he just caught a pixel out of place there.
Yeah,
now he definitely sees him, but they see him too.
Rello looking back up the hill, has spotted out Kraken. Lots of damage, forces him away from the angle, and Alcadzia is just trying to extricate. They want to get away from this, realizing that too many people have gotten contained over here. Gen G still does have one member up and alive in Buksansa.
I mean, Flame just has to try to survive. He could get the revives, though, so he would love it if everybody just said, okay, I guess we're done. They just wipe their hands clean of this and move on.
Really far away. Could happen.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's about your best hope is Flame right now.
JDG trying to make something happen for themselves, but the only thing that's going to happen is Orchid's going to kind of retreat. This is not anything you have to make the biggest commitment to. Boostic's taking a lot of damage, though. This is still pretty open. Taps in. He's almost down. One more bullet could be enough, but it is not going to connect.
Got to give a big shout out to Orchid here today. Rocketing up the leaderboard up to 4th and kind of learning, from their experience. Obviously, they used to be Slam G. Now they're Orchid, but back at PGS 9 and 10. Saw some really good improvements from, the first PGS that we had with them to the second in Malaysia. And they're continuing to just get better and better and better.
Quick update, Alcadzia did get away from everything that was going on in Buksansa, but let's make it even spicier. Red Zone lands on top of Buksansa. So, Fury is going to be eyeing ahead. For Angry Men, though, they want a piece of what's going to be happening over here, and that's going to be one member already down at 5 minutes for Furia.
And just add a 5th team. Why not? Even Geeke is kind of over here, too. This whole area has just become a cluster. And now there's a red zone even. It's just chaos. It's mayhem.
If Flame gets taken out by a red zone explosion, it would be poetic at this stage, but he survives it. Handles.
You're mean.
I am.
You're a mean old man, Matchroom.
It would be funny. I like it.
I know.
I enjoy the chaos that PUBG brings.
I know. I do too. That's why we're friends.
Look, I've got Kawazina on my fantasy squad, and he just died in under 5 minutes. Let me have some type of okay? Okay?
Rip. I don't think I have anybody from Gen G or Alcadzia on my team today, which is turning out to be okay-ish. I mean, my team's not doing great, but the Freaks are one of the few teams that drops up on that Northern Island routinely, so They have the widest 2-2 split you're ever going to see. We do have an interview here with Ian from T1. Let's see what they have to say.
And now we are here with Ian from T1 because today he just made like a hot drop against JDG, everyone, and that's were intense. And he won both time and both like twice. So here I would like to let us go through there. So what the edge or what gave you the edge to win twice?
오늘 JDG와의 초반 교전이 굉장히 치열했는데요. 두 번 모두 승리를 가져가셨습니다. 교전을 어떻게 푸셨는지 그리고 좀 이길 수 있었던 결정적인 요인은 무엇이었는지 말씀해 주실 수 있을까요?
일단은 게임 시작 전에 팀원들과 어떻게 할지 소통하였고 이제 인게임에서 서로 커뮤니케이션 좀 잘 돼가지고 이제 승리할 수 있게 된 것 같습니다.
Before the game started, our team had a discussion beforehand, and our in-game calls were really clean. So, yeah, it was the key to win.
Wow, that was cool. So, cheer them up, T1!
T1!
They have been shooting them up.
They have. 52 points right now, just a breath away from 4th. So, while dealing with all these hot drops, absolutely insane.
No, it's madness. And again, if they can really have a good Tego and a good Rondo, then there's a world where they get top 5, go straight to the grand finals while hot dropping quite often. So that would be unbelievably impressive. And, you know, after last year at PGC, right, you know, you think about how they were leading after the first couple of days, couldn't hold it together because the hot drop stuff actually came and bit them in the butt. But anyway.
Hot drop stuff back around Buksansai has now calmed down-ish. 4 Angry Men have moved very far forward. They're kind of holding down the bridges that leads into Yongshan, where Furia is kind of pathing along. Furia is going to be back behind, of course, 4 Angry Men because they've gotten to that position. Namiga opting into a similar path, going to be pretty close to Furia behind all of this. Flame still just kind of chilling in Buksansai itself. Al-Qadzi has found themselves some vehicles, so everything's calmed down in separation-ish, but the potential for another fight between 3 of those squads brewing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because everybody was so keen on trying to third-party stuff. Flame's still alive. Flame alone in Buksanza.
Let's bring it back.
But you know what's funny is Namiga still has a couple cars driving by him, so he has to be a little bit patient before he tries to go for those revives. Sharper.
They've decided they want to go after FN Pochan's position. FN a bit separated out over here, so see if a regroup committal comes into play. Rex going to be around, playing it a bit slow. Oh, narrowly misses.
Quiet.
Good shot, hits the headshot onto 1, but does go down the second. Escalus does get him, and quick flush to follow.
Yeah, Rex had an opportunity, knew there was going to be another player, kept the trigger held down, just couldn't buy quite enough time for the rest of his team to get in there. But Starlord knows about where some of these knocks are. Oh my God, this Panzer.
Does he have the line in just yet? Sends it, doesn't connect the way he wants. Now he's very isolated. Jedi takes down Zenith.
Oh, that is unfortunate. That Panzer splashed on the door, and now he is in a world of trouble. Grenades are ringing out all around him. Tons of smokes here to try to create a concave around him.
Starlord isolated on one side, Breakers on the other. Lots of smokes already down. The Expendables having to deal with JDG on one side of them, the Freaks on the other. Hill's not safe, so send it back over to the crates, find some safety there at least, but looks like maybe another squad was eyeing that. They're gonna have to shoo them away in the distance. Sharper's got FN Pochan just kind of on the run right now.
Everybody shifting down, expecting that this circle is gonna go towards Godak. So that's why you see a lot of teams filtering into that area. And not often that the circles end up shifting towards Hey Musa, so they just want to get into a better spot as these circles go along. As Breakers out here in the open. It's going to be tough. I mean, for FN, you're probably just going to have to pull back, hope that Sharper decides to make a move and you can get the revives, but the thing is Sharper is still in the circle, so they might wait it out or just might chase him down.
They're in vehicles just chasing after FN Pochan. And Pochan is, they're in second right now. Sharper's on the hunt for it. Breakers does get the knock, but Earth just immediately follows it back up. And now down to just 1. Starlord down to 12.
Tries to go for the flush. Just not enough health. They were too good there. Our Sharper, I love the aggressiveness. Again, this confidence from Sharper is what is keeping them in this top half towards a position where they could potentially get top 5 because they have the confidence to make plays like this. A lot of teams would have just said, we got our 2 kills, let's play for the next circle, and they're like, let's make sure we finish what we started.
This is just a symptom of how close all of these points are. Taking down any squads, picking up a squad wipe, propels you pretty much up into that top 4 if you're in that middle pack position right now. Sharper trying to decide how much more they really want out of this. Freaks also caught up in a fight with 17 in a hay bale situation that's just turned a bit awkward with E-Arena having some supervision. A lot of teams, I think, playing around this, expecting this to be the new center circle very shortly.
Absolutely, and this is tough for the Free. Oh my God, Human tucked into the hay bales there. That's able to block that grenade damage. They're gonna lose some vehicles here for it. Jacob even saw their heads for a brief moment, but the tires are gonna be popped. Lil Ghost still using that smoke for cover. Jacob can't do much about it. Heaven responds with a little bit.
I think that I saw on the map while this is going on that Jin G might have gotten their reses up, so that could be something to keep an eye on. I don't know where they're going to land or find any loot inside the circle. Freaks, are you going to go for a regroup? Are you just isolated? A lot of smokes out. They've got to wrap this one very carefully. Is it going to be enough? Bullets just cascading into the back of the vehicle, connecting. They're so close to safety, but so many people taking pot shots. I think that they've managed to get it.
God, it's one of those moments where I absolutely love the pony because the profile of it is so thin. It's hard to hit. Players inside of it. And it's not the strongest of vehicles, of course. It blows up. Oh, my God. Hold on. Xiao Wu.
Oh, pops it in the face. Xiao Wu peeks back around, but Spaceman gets the knock at range. Little Ghost just can't find the angle to assist enough.
That was close to disaster for JDG. 3 players took splash damage from that Panzer. They weren't able to get any knocks off the Panzer alone, and 17 crumbling. Tried to take that fight against the Freaks, and they were so spread out that JDG kind of realized they had an opportunity to punish.
New fight brewing as it is going to be the Expendables making a push into the circle right next to Geek K, but it's going to be Nemiga that's already taking shots at Geek K. Alcadzia is actually going to the island over to the west while this is going on. That's interesting. The Expendables, I think, pulled off of Geek K and instead are forcing their way into Nemiga's line.
Yeah, and the circle did actually shift a little bit more west than maybe teams thought, so that opens up this opportunity here for Alcadzia because nobody's really going to want to go out onto that far west end of the peninsula. It's just not really an area of the map that's interesting. It's kind of dangerous because there's pretty wide open hills. They're not super impactful. That mortar was close to being impactful. Oh, there it is!
Oh, Human. The follow-up, those things were just stacked on top of each other, and Spaceman just gets knocked off of it. 17, you want to do anything? Nope, 17's already taken too much damage. This is a funnel over into the northeast where we have T1, Twisted, Nemiga, after being pushed by the Expendables up into this corridor. It's pretty open field, so JDG and 17 have to keep their head on a swivel.
T1 actually going to be in a really uncomfortable position potentially. Furious just rolling through Goduk right on their east, and I don't know if they realize it as they're trying to square up for a fight against Twisted. They don't kind of want to take the open space they have in the circle. Granted, it's not all the best. This part of the map can be a little bit tricky to navigate at times, but EN did open up with a knock there. It's not the end of the world as Geek has, like you were talking about, the Expendables near them doing a little bit of damage, but that is a knock onto Clories. Smokes are down. Duck Juice trying to buy a little bit extra time here. Throws up the foldable shield. What in the world, Tanvu?
DK was trying to boldly push to chase down the knock that they just got. Tanvu sends it over the top, denies it. He's got the Panzerfaust at the ready, picks it up, pops it over the top, but Quizzy's got one of his own to get the knock on the Tanvu.
That's all to try to set up the angle here for Delwyn and others, but it's other teams getting involved. Orchid finds a knock. Diffix able to take Delwyn down. What an absolute mess. I just love the Expendables. Just no fear to go for these big plays. Here comes T1 trying to get the surround. Perfectix out in the open. This should be a free knock. Brady can't get the spray to go.
Blocks it. It's a problem because they're getting shot from behind. Furia has crept out of the buildings behind them, chasing down, realizing that they could pounce on this firefight. T1 in some trouble. Sharper is over into the west. They hear this firefight. They've already sent Earth over here as well. It's a 4-team firefight right on the edge of the zone, and nobody is coming out clean yet.
Yeah, just not enough information there for T1 when they wanted to take that fight. Clory should be dead, but how am I bad? The initial spray wasn't very good. How in the world, Clory's?
How does he peek that back in the fourth and get away with that? That is an insane play. Yeah, he goes down, but he should have been down way before then.
Oh, that's just crazy stuff. Clory's there, had the presence of mind to just wait it out, get that get that crosshair where it needed to be.
Hi, Jin G. Welcome to the party again.
Hey, guys.
Have fun. There's so much loot in the circle.
I just go, do you have a secret room key? You could go land on that island and open it. I don't know. Lurix there looking to put a bolt to somebody's face, and it's Duck Juice out in the blue still, trying to figure out a way to get something in this one. Geekay struggling as well as Namiga starts to barrel down towards them. Goodbye, Duck Juice.
Big update. Twisted managed to mostly reset fine after the firefight that was happening on the edge of T1 and everybody else. So now they're starting to push up a hillside. Namiga down to the south of that has to move away from Orchid. That's going to put them way closer to the Freaks, who are going to be gatekeeping. This crossroad that they're about to have to cross is open, man. There is not anything to really work around with cover. It's going to get punished. Sharper's up to the north. They're trying to make sure that they hold out the remnants of everybody from Furia to FN.
Yeah, they're so spread out where Sharper, they've got the ability to cover so much of any team that comes from their northwest or northeast into this circle, and they were able to get a little bit of value out of it. And Orca, well, you're on the island. I wish you well, my friend.
Can you imagine a world where Alcadzia was still on that island whenever Orca landed there thinking it was safe?
That would have been pretty funny.
Alcadzia has got 3 members that are creeping in very close to the safe zone. It'll be the first time they've seen it in a long time. Salute! Spots out Namiga making their cross, long crossroads. Couple of shots, but at least enough to get into the circle, and this is all Namiga wanted. It's not comfortable, but man, it's at least something.
That's nade range, though, for the Freaks, potentially. If they kind of get a read on where they stopped up, they should be realizing it. The problem for the Freaks was when they reached out to try to put some damage into Namiga, this team right here, Orchid, was putting damage into them. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Orca are just surrendering.
Just get in the water, man. That's your home. Why you got to be on island?
Godspeed, good sir. Well, he's got a first aid. I thought he'd at least go for the swim, but
he got a backpack and a first aid inside that compound.
He made some noise, and Durans had to go and watch it. There it is.
Oh, Lurix, I think, just ran right into that nade. JDG trying to find some points, man.
Les Devils sont fait éliminer, les T1 sont fait éliminer, les GK sont fait éliminer.
Twisted might start eyeing this sightline.
Yeah, Namiga though, the good
Les
news
GNG
for
sont
them
dans le
is they're
bleu.
basically cut off from most of the teams behind them as long
Normal,
as they don't
il y en
crest
a
the
beaucoup
hill.
dans le
So
bleu quand même.
this is safe for now. But
Les
they're going to have
Fens
to
sont
fight
dans
their
le
way
bleu.
out most likely.
Les
The
Furs
next
sont dans le
couple
bleu, les
circle
Quads sont
shifts,
dans le bleu.
unless they get a couple northeast hard shifts their direction.
Les GNG sont éliminés.
Holding on, if they can get rid of JDG up here, it at least offers them a little bit more breathing room.
Well, I don't think that Namiga knows how many people are up there as we do go more fields with the new circle. Orchid's going to have to make a move to the south. Arena down to the southwest could regroup where Jacob's going to be at. Barilla, it's going to be Sharper, Alcadzia, Furia, last member up over there. Let's not forget Star-Lord for FN Pochon still alive. Twisted's going to be just to the east of that.
I feel like this opens up an opportunity for the Freaks to maybe do some damage to teams that are forced into the fields because their compound's still going to be cut into the circle. Where is this going?
Alcadzia?
Alcadzia, it has to be.
Yeah. Alcadzia, you're not going to be too comfy in that spot. Just send one. You know, sometimes it's about
like
sending a message.
250 away-ish. Aw.
Where it go? Where it go?
Where mortar go?
Where mortar go? I'm used to watching the arc come in. I feel bad.
I don't think it was even close. That was a wanting mortar shot.
It needed to be a little bit further than that.
Yeah, for sure. Amiga, I mean, the cool thing is you can chill now. The circle did shift in your direction, so maybe if there is that, oh my God, Star-Lord is still alive.
Yep.
I had forgotten about this.
Oh, Twisted! No!
No.
It's going to be Batulans on the other side of it, peeking between the two. There's multiple members for Twisted that kind of were trying to play for a circle afterwards, but Batulans just going to take him down. That's going to feel good after the pan in the last one. Sharper's Thunder down, but Sharper has to be careful with this. That might open up something that Twisted wants. They had multiple members. The reason why Batulans was by himself was Twisted was looking at Sharper's positioning.
Yeah, Sharper was able to wipe Alcadzia, though, so they've got 7 kills, and they're up into 5th place right now, and that's got the home crowd fans very excited. This has been a tremendous continuation of what started good for them on day 1 in Group A. Day 2, even better.
Everyone's in still alive for Furia, so they are tied up at that 53 point. He's just trying to creep his way in. Lyrix might be able to see him, but it looks like Sharper is going to get a bit closer to Twisted. This has become a survival game between the two. Sure, if Sharper can find some kills, but it's going to be very hard. 4 angry men holding one angle of it. It's just kind of down into a ravine where there's going to be multiple crossfire positions. Lou going to take down Skluza.
There's some 4AM fans in there, too. as there's a little bit of a cheer when Escaluzio goes down.
Always 4 Angry Men fans, no matter where we go.
No matter where we go.
They travel, dude.
They do, and that's why they continue to be a force in PUBG esports, as Perfectix actually going to steal that away from 4 AM, though, so a little bit of dejection from their fans as Twisted continues to just inch their way forward. Perfectix watching that backside, keeping eyes on Sharper, making sure they're not going to get any wild ideas to maybe try to crash their back lines or something, but Twisted should be safe-ish. They've got a few vehicles to utilize here. You can see Earth wants to pop those tires to make it a little more difficult to get that Porter forward.
Lyrics was taking shots at 4 Angry Men. That opened up some more avenues of safety for Sharper for now. But that also means that Calzine can creep in back behind. Earth connects on to Lou. And can Sharper manage to make it into this circle? It would be amazing if they did.
That was a beautiful grenade. Right on the money. Lou had no idea until it was too late. That's a follow-up that's just perfect. Pinpoint, and he's gonna get another.
Dude, Sharper just unrelenting. Can they find a way to get into the circle? All odds stacked against him. They feel like maybe they can go hopping in the vehicle. They're going to send it around. 4 Angry Men. But now, while this is going on, it's Calzine. He popped up, took shots at Lyrics. E-Arena not holding this angle anymore. Sharper's managed to creep in and find some type of path to maybe get in the zone.
And they're looking for this knock, I think. That would be so great if they could find it, but it's going to be a little bit too late. They're just going to have to hunker down for now. Orchid has to try to get in somewhere, so a ton of smokes have to be used. Again, maybe the Freaks are going to have an angle into that when the smokes go down. It's going to be very, very tricky, and it's an attempted sneak play up this hill underneath 4 AM's noses. So far, E-Arena hasn't spotted them either, so it hasn't given away anything for Sharper.
Sapuli. So close, yet so far. The fight between JG and Amiga still throwing things at each other. Suze takes a lot of that to the face. He has to run away. That leaves just Spaceman by himself to hold that angle. And remember, this is just barely inside the circle, so they're fighting for just the capabilities to try to cross the road.
Yeah, it's kind of a little disjointed, though, with that utility. Not able to follow up on some nice initial damage. They didn't have the confidence to push up and over and in the back.
Oh, somehow survives it. Narrowly gets behind the tree, but Jacob does spot him out in the end. 4 Angry Men, hear that firefight. Now J-Dye has to retreat from that angle. That's going to put him closer to Twisted. But 4 Angry Men now caught up in a fight with what's going to be going on with E-Arena. It's going to be Twisted on the outside that hears that. They're going to be chasing. Jacob spots it, spins it back around. But there is nowhere for 4 Angry Men to go. They are out.
But J-Dye, he might have eluded Twisted Mind's sightlines. He's out away from them. He could backstab them. Oh boy, that's so scary. Orchid is going to go down to the Freaks in 17. Just a really rough spot for them. Meanwhile, Namiga has gotten that circle love, and so they've been able to hang on to the corner of those fields for some time. J-Dye out in the blue.
Found a crate that probably has some meds in it that might give him enough
Il
time
sait
to
qu'il
survive.
fait une bonne game.
Might have spotted. Example is going to go ahead and get the kill onto him to finish out, but heroic attempt. The most cover inside the circle is the crates that are just littered across the middle of it. There is nothing else. Everybody's fighting on the edge.
Yeah, Freaks need to hunker down and make sure that E-Arena or Twisted can't get on top of them. Good news for them is E-Arena is thinking about a fight with Twisted over on the other side. Namiga harassing 17. Perfectix taking half damage on that grenade. Has to go for the first aid. He will have to chew through a little bit. Oh, what a grenade from Opons again.
Twisted eyes on that first place position. The Expendables down early. Lots of points that they have to try to catch up on, but it's going to be E-Arena wanting to climb up their own. Tied up right now, down in that 10th place position. Can E-Arena take down Twisted and stall them out? Nade's going to go just a bit too far, and E-Arena clings to life as Example and Lou just cannot find the angle. But Tulin's starting to at least find some shots to herd Opons in closer and closer to Lou.
But those were such good initial grenades that it has stalled E-Arena up, and Twisted Minds can really try to think about how they want to take this fight, or even if they want to. Lou up close and personal, just gonna cook the heck out of it.
Oh, does it drop close enough? Gets some damage, but doesn't get the knocks. He just runs right into the thick of them, dancing around right in their face, cooking the nade. He wants it. He's gonna drop it right on top of him. It's gonna be at range. Example being the distraction, feeding the information to know exactly where this nade's gotta go.
Oh, it's perfect. Lou, the patience there pays off, but Lyrics is gonna strike. He goes out in the blue, gets the flush, traded out by Example.
Just down to Example and Batulings. Example at 4 kills, Twisted at 8 in total. Shots continuing to ring out from Twisted Minds on this hillside, pushing up, trying to use the tree for cover, seeing if they can get these flushes. Spots out, but it is going to be example going down to Nurins, the last member up for E-Arena.
Yeah, the Freaks actually got involved in that fight a little bit too. We're doing some damage to E-Arena. Namiga, they're coming in. They want a piece of this.
Back behind the solo in Batulins. He's in some trouble, but we've seen him in this position, isolated by himself several times. Batulins wants to take down E-Arena, but cannot find the angle. Smokes down, lots of sprays coming out from Namiga, and Batulins in trouble.
Yeah, the Freaks are going to claim some more lives of E-Arena, and it's going to be Nurins actually going down to the blue. Didn't have anything further he could really do in this one. So now the Freaks are on guard duty. Want to prevent Namiga and the last player from Twisted from getting in there. And Batulins gets lit up as soon as he sticks his head up, and yeah, the SKS will finish the job.
Batulins is like one of the most annoying players to kill whenever he's by himself. Freaks, low ground control, crates galore in front of them. They've got some control positions that they can play from. I wouldn't even necessarily call them buildings, just some covered hay bales to work around. Meanwhile, Namiga's got the high ground.
Heaven has to be ultra careful here. Don't give anything up for free. You guys have a huge util advantage. You've got 12 frags and a lot of flashes, 9 of them. So now Heaven, with a bunch in the bag, can look to soften up Namiga and then let the rest of the team finish the job when they have to make their move. But there is one player, it's Gedrox, who's kind of sneaked around the edge there.
And he is really, really close, specifically to Heaven. Heaven playing this so patiently, is going to go for the toss. Steps away and spins it back around. He got the knock on the hell of my bad. Beautiful throw.
That is so well done there. Now he can throw some stuns. He knows other players had angles on him, so just let loose. Give him the barrage, but look out, here comes Gedrox from behind.
Just spraying him down. Gedrox retreats, uses some type of shrubbery for cover. Guman, DL trying to hold different angles, and at the distance, it's going to be Salute providing covering fire, but Gedrox, he has to hold this angle. He has to play it safe. Heaven's actually trying to crawl a bit further forward to see if he can spot out where Gedrox is going to be playing from.
Yeah, now they know he's right behind that shield. Gonna use a stun there with a Groza behind it. Very weak as Gedrox. Couldn't get a first aid through. Might not have any left.
I mean, Gedrox needs support from the other members for Namiga. They have some angles that they can provide some support from, and it looks like they have shoot Guman away. So Guman's going to go ahead, move further down to the southwest to see if he can move up the lip of the hill. Spots out a new angle. Good read. Very clean from Guman.
All right, Guman has a bunch of frag grenades. DL has a ton. Just let him fly. It's actually all in DL's hands. Excuse me. He's got all 5. Just let him fly. As soon as you get the opportunity there. Oh, a nice knock on to Levante for DL.
Just playing the angles slow and steady. It's just a trade. Feeding information, opening up a new angle for somebody else to play. Freaks are just making Namiga dance to the tune that they want. Freaks had it quiet day 1, but day 2, really good so far.
Yeah, now you can double up, have a Groza right on the front line to lock Namiga in, and this should be very difficult for them as the circle wears down. A little bit of damage done to DL. They've been keeping him in check, but they haven't been able to go for a mate.
My bad, just gonna get, I get more aggressive with it. Just gotta run down the face. Those shields from Namiga, though, causing a lot of trouble. See the Freaks keep going for these jack-in-the-box plays, but can't find it. Salute's actually moved aggressive onto the sideboard. Levante does find out Human, but it's quick exchanges. Freaks coming out on the better side of it.
Yeah, Heaven there, a nice position, able to react. Hello, my bad. Goes back into the smoke to try and survive a little bit longer. He's out in the open, and he's down, he's out. It's gonna be the Freaks who take Tago.
Big game for the Freaks, finding kills, finding a victory, climbing up that leaderboard, finally finding some successes.
Well, everybody thought should be one that's coming out of this group in that top 5. Or not everybody, but a lot of people.
It's day 1 Freaks. I don't ever expect them to get points. It's not, they slow build up. I guess they're like a souffle. They eventually pop off at the later stage.
Souffle.
I mean, it's true. When was the last time you saw a Salute on a fantasy team pop off on day 1?
Never. And I've made the mistake of...
I know.
I did it.
I'm calling your pain.
You're calling me out?
We've all seen you do it, Paper. This is an intervention.
I'm a believer.
I know you're a believer, but believe on day 2.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fine. You can still be a fan and believe on day 2, because then you're in a better position, just like the Freaks are after that great victory.
A brilliant performance, PGC 2024 for DN Freaks. They came just shy of claiming that World Championship, and the question remained for us for day number 2 of our group stage. They needed to step up, and they have done with a victory here on Tago to get them rolling towards the top of the scoreboard.
Yeah, we were talking about it. They had to finish this stage strong. Otherwise, we're going to be scratching above that favorite going into the finals. And yeah, this one was a strong effort for them, but there was a lot of chaos in this one. I got to say, all the way through, you saw 10 were driving up, trying to drive by GK. Like, there's a lot of shenanigans. It's a rough circle as well. This kind of western side, southwest, and the North Island is difficult to play, but I like the kind of moves we saw, especially from Nemiga, especially from Orchid as well. Like, some of the positioning was great. Twisted Minds got locked out. Multiple teams that realized, okay, they're on the edge here. We can put pressure on them.
Yeah.
We are potentially able to take some points away from them, but Example turned off. He got 5 kills. Getrox tried to get an opening here in Heaven, but this ridge and the advantage that Freaks had in this position here was just undeniable.
Yes.
A 9-kill win for them is huge.
For sure. As much as Gedrox's off angle was cool, it did speak to me as, like, not only was the DM Freaks position more valuable, more strong, but at the same time from Nemiga, I felt like they were, okay, we're going up against DM Freaks. We don't quite know how we want to approach this, right? For a team that it's basically their first big LAN ever.
You want my approach.
Sure.
The you know, hindsight approach.
Yeah.
You smoke all the way down to the Hables. You have Getrox on the off angle, run 3 guys on the smoke line down to the Havel.
Big aggression.
And then when they start opening on that, Getrox opens off on the off angle. That's the only play you have.
And then you're in their face.
Then you're in their face.
Yeah. Maybe you could try that. Maybe you could. But that's by the by here. Regardless, DM Freaks is a huge win for them.
Yes.
I will say Nigra on the other side, getting to these late games consistently. I mean, they're challenging for top 5 right now, and I don't think a lot of people have that on their bingo cards.
That's for sure not. But, you know, we've seen them throughout the year. They had some great performances. Again, sure, they didn't put themselves in here by PGC points. It was on the grace of someone else getting our top 8 PGS invite here, so it's good to see. Discussing a little bit here and there, we could have done better. I agree.
I see it,
that could have been a win, and they realized that too. But it's going to be 19 points going the way of DNF here, but 14, 14, 11, and 10 here. 5 teams total to get double-digit here. Not a lot of points for the rest of the teams. 3 teams managed to get 0. 5 managed to get 1 or less.
It's kind of what happens with the openness of Tago, right? And some of the things that are going on as we're watching a little bit of the madness ensue. But for DM Freaks, very important point. It's moving them slowly away from that danger zone because they were kind of down there for the most part. It was a very close mid-pack, and DM Freaks was not safe by any means. This will shore up some of their defenses, but it's not all done just yet.
No, it's been slowing some of the other teams down as well, but the other teams come again. Oh, look at that. The 4th place, but it's only because FN Potion has had a mediocre day, well, even less than mediocre day here.
Yeah.
But we are our halfway point here, James. Let's look at it, right? Our 5th
place is
remonte
58 bien.
points. We can double that. That's going to be 116. That's a very low cutoff in my book. But look how close everyone else is on the right side. Sharper, Orchid, Furia, 1 point behind on
so close.
Here. It's extremely tight here. And even for our 3rd place, still possible to be caught too.
I mean, the rotation, if any of the teams from that mid-pack are finishing in 1st or 2nd in the previous game, they're suddenly in 4th and 5th. Every single time. We've had that happen 3 games in a row.
It's kind of crazy. And if it wasn't for Expendables doing shenanigans in this game and kind of, you know...
The 10% was crazy.
Yeah, a little bit, right? And they're going out early on, so it's a little bit rough for the teams. If we're not seeing more sponges, it could be open for more than just 2 teams.
Yeah.
It could be a 3 or even potentially 4 teams that's open up to take these top 5 grabs here. So far, it's looking great for Expendables.
For me, in my mind, Tago always presents the more interesting and difficult challenge for a lot of these teams on the international stages. But now we turn our attention to Rondo, where all of these teams are going to have to battle things out for even more points. That marks now the halfway point here of the group stage. As all of these guys going up against one another, it's time to head on over to the commentators. We're ready to Rondo here. Game number 4 of the day for Group A.
No breaks on the train of hype that we've been getting with games so far, and game number 4 bound to deliver as well. It has been a plethora of beautiful plays, and I cannot wait to see what this beautiful map provides.
I cannot either. Just such fun games we're having here today.
Yeah, dude.
This has been just so wild. I mean, I love how intense these lobbies are, and it's not quite as crazy as yesterday in some ways, but in other ways it is, because it's just like chaos with the circles, chaos with like teams making good plays and smart plays and cool plays and fun plays. This is what it's all about.
This group stage is so interesting because you get to watch like the two different variations of PUBG esports on opposing days, right? We don't know technically how Group B will play again tomorrow, but it's the slow, methodical chess yesterday. And then today it's more of the I'm going to get in your face and I'm going to show dominant style of PUBG. And it's really, really cool. I know that it didn't technically like intentionally shake out this way. It just happened by happenstance, but please
Continue.
roll it.
Yes.
I want more.
Yes. I will keep rolling these dice all day. Just I don't care if I'm losing money. I'll keep rolling the dice. That's fine with me. As
4 Angry Men.
do we have anything? Do we have any hot drops? I swear to God, I'm just like now conditioned to just expect hot drops.
We have the Luke drop of 4 Angry Men and Twisted. That's about it.
Yeah. Now I'm a little sad. I'm kind of so used to the hot drops that I'm like, what do I do without them? What does my life become?
What do we do Circle 1? They no fight.
It's so sad.
So sad.
Big sad.
Okay, but that's fine. Freaks, after a good game, Stadium Center for this circle. They're on top of it. That feels good.
Yeah, this should be pretty nice for the Freaks. Potentially, you never know, of course. I mean, it can always be a little bit tricky when you're given center circle. Sometimes you lock down your prio compounds, and then the circle just double hard shifts away from you, and you're left scratching your head.
I need everybody energy. We want Stadium, don't we? We want a Stadium.
Like right in the stadium.
Right in Stadium. Give it to us. By our powers combined and our energy together, we can summon Stadium. Or Zhao 10. I'd be fine with Zhao 10. Just, come on. We can do it.
Like in a city, in those locations would be just super duper.
Meanwhile, every single player is like, go away from Stadium. Go away from Stadium.
I mean,
there's more of us, though. There's more of us viewers than there are players, so we can outnumber them.
That's true. That's true. I'll fight them. The funny thing is like, circles very well can end in Joutin and in Stadium, so that's very possible, and we cross our fingers as casters that happens. Meanwhile, you know, as the Freaks like to do early, they'll send one player out. A lot of times it's Salute, sometimes it's Gumin. It kind of depends on the situation. To just go out, do a little bit of early scouting reconnaissance, and just kind of take control. A lot of times they like to rely on Salute just because of his individual prowess, where they feel like, you know, given a 1v1 or a 1v2, he's got the best bet to win. Even though Gumin, a very good player, Salute is world caliber. And let's hear from, never mind, we canceled it.
We didn't. Now we want it back, though.
จากที่บ้านเราปีนี้ก็รู้สึกมั่นใจมากขึ้นครับเพราะว่ามีแฟนคลับคอยเชียร์จากด้านนอกครับก็วันนี้วันแรกก็ยังไม่ค่อยพอใจในผลงานสักเท่าไหร่ครับเพราะว่าเราได้แต้มไม่ค่อยดีมากครับเพราะว่ามันสามารถได้แต้มเยอะกว่านี้อีกก็ถ้าจะปรับก็เราก็ต้องพยายามหาแต้มให้ได้เยอะกว่านี้
That was our best toss to an interview ever.
I love it. Look,
we're on the ball.
Look, I'm busy summoning Stadium, dude. I can't be distracted by interviews and other such shenanigans.
Whatever. Moving on with life. Genji making a rotation out from Danqing, southeast area of the circle. FN is going to take their time, send Rex out a little bit ahead to scout the edge of the circle. Al-Qadzia making their moves. Furia's got a glider up. They're going to be doing a little bit of scouting from there, taking their time. Sharper landed in Jadena City, or near it, and they're driving through it. The Expendables still looting, taking their time to get in. Irina still outside, and Orchid over by Long Tin.
So we need to start talking about what's happening after 11th place right now, because we're starting to get a break point situation looking down where it's 38 points, 36, 30, and there's the diminishing down there. That break line at 17. 17's in a good position in the circle. You want to get away from those bottom positions. The desk was talking about it. Martin specifically was like, yes, you lose your hotel, you get put on a plane, it's time to go. You don't make last chance qualifiers. You are done and out. We're now starting to see a breakaway at 11th. You cannot let that get away from you.
No, you're... But this solely comes down to if Zenith spots PWD.
Or if Zenith opts into looking for the bridge. We often see people jump down from this higher position, just like this,
He's dead.
to go look at the bridge. This is exactly what PWD was waiting for. Easy pickup, patience, understanding exactly what the opponent's going to be doing. Big reward.
That's so well read by GK. And that's Zenith gone. So now is FN, you just got to let GK go ahead of you. You got to seed that position early and probably try to play for the res. I don't know if GK is going to give it up. They are hanging around. Star-Lord with just a scar there. That's not a gun I'd want to be taking, and he's oh god, he's dead.
Here comes the reinforcements though. They want to see if they can contest. Oh, the nade doesn't land inside the shack like they wanted it to. GK trying to see if they can rally back. Breakers had the Panzerfaust, but Quizzy instantly drops him. Star-Lord does get the knock on to Diffex, but Spyro spots out Rex.
I think one of those hit for PWD at Rage. Quizzy just barely winning that battle out. And that's going to be GK wiping FN before the first circle even closes. Really nicely thought out by them.
EK loving the loot now. Going to feel a lot better about it. They've got control if this goes down to the south. Great position. If not, they've also sent a stage leaning forward saying, hey, if we end up going to this area anytime ever again, it's ours, not yours.
Yeah, and think about where they're at in the standings. They're 14th. They're on that bubble position of being eliminated from PGC if they can't get it going, and that's 4 huge kills, and that gets them closer to 17, who's going to be watching that, being not so thrilled about it. They just can't help themselves but lose players early.
This is kind of a nature of the beast in the circle. You can see what Gen G was going for. Good position that's going to be jockeyed for pretty regularly. It's just Orchid managed to spot out. Good line of sight. Boostic, of course, always very opportunistic.
Oh, for sure. And if you give Boostic any kind of opportunity, he will absolutely capitalize. He is just too good of a fragger. And look at this. They're going to try to drive in closer. They're getting up on those hills, going around the hills even. Gen G needs to just group up as 4 for safety after this res.
I mean, there's no harm in surrendering the coastline itself. Give up that area around Shark Fin.
Yeah.
Shift away. Get yourself a bit more inland mass. That's not the worst. All considered, Namiga is going to go ahead and get their res. This is going to be north of Yasnaya. Should be perfectly fine for them to work for. JDG also getting a bit more of a comfortable start this time around. They're around shooting range right now. No big rush to get in the zone either. So everything pretty calm. We were talking about Twisted and Freaks. They both shifted into the circle. Twisted's going to be along Death Road with 2 of their members. Another 2 closer to the road to the north of that. And then the Freaks just above them.
And not the end of the world. A little bit of a whoopsie, but not too big of a problem there for an Amiga. They're going to be able to get back up to full health. So away you go. Clear a little bit of extra bag space even maybe. And move on with your game.
It's a way to refer using meds and stuff like that. I like it. Hey guys, I got some more space for ammo.
Hey,
Appreciate
I can maybe hold another frag grenade or something, you know.
Oh, Gen G, Lyrics. Orchid, they want this. This is pretty bold coming up from Orchid. Sitting at 61 right now, just solid performance. Remember, they did see that FN Pochon had some situations start, so they can have an opportunity for themselves. Furia also getting involved on the other side of Gen G, and I mean, Gen G's holding it, but God, just good shots, Kawazin.
Oh man, the M16, very good. Still a very, very good gun. A lot of players prefer the Mark 12, but there's a few out there who are happy to have the M16 as well. And going for some shots on the retreating Orca players, or Orchid, Orca, shooting at Orchid.
Not complicated in the slightest. I do like that coming out from Orchid, though. They realize that, hey, there's somebody else shooting at the other side of Gen G. This might be a bit too hot. Let's kind of retreat away from it. Let them have it. The Expendables also going to go get Hillside. It's going to be close to 17. They might get some vision on anybody that could try to encroach. So Orchid not wanting to bite off too much more.
Look at how careful they're being here. They're really taking their time. Letting Clories do a little bit of scouting, and then they'll leapfrog a bit, send Delwyn forward to kind of do a similar thing. They're going to rotate right underneath 17. A pre-rotation here for the Expendables, but they don't have to go too far. It's shifted over in this direction.
Roams through. They got this information off the hillside just that moment ago, so realizing the angle of approach should be pretty solid. Gen G is keeping their heads down right now. They've got to be careful. They're getting pretty close to Fury as well as 17, who is trying to reach out a bit further themselves. But the Expendables weathering it for the time being, not taking too much damage. Looks like they're going to opt into this position very close to Furia's duo setup over here.
Yeah, but they found the gap in Furia's formation, and they're going to be safe-ish. Just depends on what Furia wants to do. Some frags to kind of see if they can get a cheeky knock and then maybe do a little bit more off the back of that. Saw a Dragunov. I think I saw a bolt in somebody's hands, or maybe they swapped it for the Dragunov, but either way, this is kind of awkward for Furia, and the Expendables are just going to hunker in.
Well, specifically for Kaunzin, right? He's just kind of stuck here now, and if anything, it relents some of the pressure onto Gen G because he was the guy that was kind of taking pot shots on the backside of him. He's now got to get out of this position and regroup with the rest of his friends, so Gen G, that had an angle that was under duress a moment ago, now way more free.
Yeah, it is a little bit helpful for Gen G. You're absolutely right. And they do have Bean who had split out, so they're in a 1-3 right now, closer to the shark fin down by the bridge. And 4 a.m., they're coming in late. They're one of the last teams here to get into this circle.
Hey, 4 Angry Men, we just saw a beautiful rotation from the Expendables to get into a good point. Issue is, you're coming in from the exact same spot. Everybody's already shifted in, and that gauntlet's going to be a bit harder. If they go too far in, 4 Angry Men can get pretty punished. Orchid's running a 2-2 split, keeping an eye on Gen G right along the peninsula, just to the south, and Lou's getting dangerously close to it.
Yeah, I'd just like to see 4 a.m. just probably realize that they're in the trail position in terms of everybody that's coming into this. Just go ahead, fan out, get some info up on those hills that are on the far west side of this circle. Look down into these valleys, see what's going on. Speaking of looking in, Boostic's still looking in on Gen G. Oh, here
yeah,
this
Lou
is.
knows. Lou knows.
He's got to be oh so careful though.
Well, he's pretty isolated too. Nobody else is really in reinforced position yet.
He got spotted.
Tongmu Shin now is coming over here. Yeah, Orchid though, with their aggression, looking into the side of what's going on with Gen G, they found themselves with a lot of friends really close to them. And I mean, really, Orchid could just like Arctic Scan just jump down in the water and maybe try to sneak away from it. But there's not too much more for them to work with. Lurex actually pops an emergency pickup just to be safe as well. That's a bit bold, Arctics. Yeah, you're going to have to retreat to the car.
Well, you just got the extra players here for 4 a.m. They cut the engines on these vehicles so Arctics wouldn't hear them showing up. Now he's in a world of trouble, although they had to pull the trigger a little bit soon, thought they had gotten spotted by him. The Tung was just going to drive at him, but he's just driving down the hill.
That's exactly what you need to do. He's already got multiple members on the other side of the coast. They can defend him if he needs to swim over. He just got to get over there. The car caused too much of a problem. He's fine. He's fine. He's down in the water now. Some level of safety.
All right, Kike lost a player, but the grenades in response don't do much. A little bit of damage to Roth. Arello going to push a little bit further forward. Wants to cut off the advancing forces. A little bit of cover fire from D. And he's hitting some okay shots.
It's just enough to try to stall out, but it's become kind of an awkward dance between the windows. Rello taking a lot of damage there. Can't be too cautious. Does get the knock, get the flushes, and now it's going to be Geek in a really weird spot. Isolated over here with two members. Game started so well, and now it's all starting to feel really bad.
Quizzy, what a sick knock there onto Roth. That was disgusting shooting. Wanted to go for the flush, denied at least initially. Spyro shows up to try to help. Meanwhile, over with Twisted, Perfectix does claim Suze's life out in the open, so Twisted gets the res, they get a kill, and they continue on their merry way.
4 Angry Men has an idea, and that idea is going to be the exact same as the Expendables, even from stopgap location coming in with information. The Expendables, though, perfect in defense so far. Atongmu starting to realize this might not be the way we wanted to come in after it. No options, even the vehicle blocking the door denies it all, and that means that the Expendables pick up more.
Yeah, the rich just get richer. Expendables make it look easy. Defense with the grenades on point initially to just really ruin 4 a.m.'s crash. Spyro flanks out. We did lose Quizzy off screen. However, Alcadzia hasn't lost anybody. They've got all 4 players still kicking, so this turned into a great defense. And what started as a good game for Geek wiping FN early has now turned into disaster.
Middle pack teams still just so back and forth. finding 3 kills, big for Alcadzia, puts him back closer to T1, who's been in all of those early game scraps. The way the circle sets, though, Alcadzia is going to have to make a move. Nemiga's going to have to regroup. JDG's got to find a way into the circle, and it's been pretty brutal for them to do so. Alcadzia looks like they're going to wrap down into the south. G still has Bean around Sharkfin, who might regroup here in a moment, but could spot this out. Very curious to see how Alcadzia approaches this.
Well, Alcadzia actually has a couple options. Farm is wide open. Well, it was, I say that, and I just see Earth from Sharper driving in there. JDG wants to go for the emergency pickup. There's also the compound that's just north of Bean, south of E Arena. It is available as well, so there is actually a little bit that Alcadzia could do with. They're a little late to the party for Farm as Sharper's rolling in.
So up on top of Death Road, our 2 squads are going to be the Freaks and Twisted. They're going to have a lot of supervision what's going on down to the south. So I have to see how much they really want to harass in on that. To the north of Death Road, it's just pretty much T1 and JDG doing that emergency pickup. And everything's pretty calm right now. Alcadzia is going to be making their approach. It's going to be pretty close to E Arena, but it's going to be, there's got a compound right on the edge of the zone. Should be able to stop off there, and yoink.
I have to assume that Spyro is going to be going for the revives with what he was doing there. Ran by the crates, and that's likely blue chip scoopage.
But where do you go, JDG?
Yeah, this is not fun for E Arena. They're in a shack. They're really split, but hey,
Ooh.
Center of the circle, I suppose.
This is weird because we end up with that farm open area just to the west. Death Road's still in play. JDG pops the parachutes, and they're starting to land. But look at how many people see them. The Expendable spotting out. T1's going to be able to pick off one of them. The Freaks are going to be a spot landfall. That's going to make it more complicated. 17 was actually rotating over here as well. JDG Spaceman just barely touches the ground. If he had hit the ground any harder, he would have knocked himself.
Kind of curious if the Freaks just want to put pressure down onto JDG. Concern could be is, you know, you might open up an opportunity for a third party, a la 17 or Twisted, to come in there and kind of make your round a lot more difficult. So they're putting 3 players here. They're just trying to gatekeep a bit. Now they should hear some of those shots coming out from 17 on the other side.
South has its own problems brewing while we're watching this. Gen.G's going to be regrouping right next to Alcadzia. Orchid still has to
Pendant
make
où
their
les
wrap
FN
around.
sont éliminés,
Gen.G
les
in their
Fourièmes sont
landfall,
éliminés.
Cold Still Alive has drawn the attention of 17.
Éliminer la
Gaming,
partie,
and there
bien
is
sûr.
going to be a potential skirmish between 17, Cold being the last one still alive, and the Freaks still lined up over there. T1 still has to get in the circle, and that's going to be 17 finishing that one out clean. Here comes Orchid on their roll through. Got too close to Alcadzia, instantly punished, but there is at least something in retaliation back from Boosting.
Now Alcadzia here could go for a grenade behind that rock. Maybe, I don't know if they're close enough actually. So they're going to have to just try to get it done with the guns, and there's just enough cover here that Orchid can hide.
For one of them, and they're both lined in back behind it, just trying to stay alive as the smoke plumes. Wants to get Meds a bit better off, but let's not forget Gen.G is also over here. Orchid has to be careful in getting out of this. It does not feel good. Alcadzia still wants to just get into the zone. Out inside the blue right now, the longer this goes on, Gen.G could opt into getting involved, but Gen.G at range has this hillside, and it looks like they don't want to commit too much into it. 17 now is going to commit into the fight against the Freaks, though.
Oh, but there's a crossfire here, and DL springs to action and gets 2 on top of 17. One of them stolen, the other at least collected by the Freaks.
That also allows a beachhead push coming up from T1, who are in pretty dangerous position. With the Freaks now distracted, they've managed to push up the side of the hill, making this a bit more dangerous. As this is set up, Orchid has managed to get very close to the safe zone. Gen.G is still going to be very close, but Alcadzia's just got to fight their way in between 2 different teams.
Well, this is looking really dire for Alcadzia. Now Gen.G gets back into the safety of a compound, which has a smidgen of it in the next circle, so they can just lock Alcadzia out. They're trying to cut through. Meanwhile, 17 just falling, crumbling, at least a couple kills, at least keeping themselves somewhat on pace ahead of that, 14th place position.
Rella goes down. Flame manages to pick up the kill. Now in the blue zone, Orchid's still very close to Gen.G. Actually collapses in a bit closer on that side. That's going to open up some vision for the Expendables. Alcadzia kind of rolls right into that same corridor. That's a big problem. We continue to collapse in around that E-Arena positioning, and that means that Death Road could have a collapse between multiple squads. Nemiga over into the east with Twisted holding down the gatekeeping position. T1 to the north. Freaks have a couple of members on the other side of it. The Expendables, though, now have to be a bit more active along this road, and sitting at 6 kills already, that's the way they like it.
Yeah, and they're going to try to use these mortars to open up that space because they have to get more active, like you're saying, Matt. And I don't know if they're going to connect with much. It depends on where they were aimed or targeted. As the revives are in. I don't know what you're going to do with it, but...
And this is a very loot barren circle, as it looks like they were thinking about going over next to farm, but they still have Sharper. Earth is over there, and that's going to make it more weird for them to deal with. So odd, but now T1 making the foot push up, going to be right next to the Freaks line.
All right, T1. Big moment here for both of these teams. You know, T1 wants to get back into that top 5, and yeah, GK, yeah, what are you going to do? They saw you coming. Saw you coming down through the air, knew you didn't have any loot. Gen G on the move. TE has already made their move.
Yeah.
Delwyn's up on the tower.
This is a very late rotate coming up from Gen G, and they're going to put themselves right next to the Expendables. Delwyn's already opened up fire on them. Haven't managed to get in the zone yet. Back behind this, Alcazia still has D alive. T1 does manage to find a good angle on their push onto Death Road itself. 7-7 is still alive over here for 17, so that could be something. Sharper just kind of rolls through, finishes off everything with GK, so that finds themselves with control over the east.
Yeah, now Gen G is trying to figure out a way to deal with the Expendables. Meanwhile, T1 wants to finish what they started on the DNF, but they actually scoop up their teammate. Salute almost gets the knock on a Type. Type will finish off one. Another grenade connects on a Human. A couple down here. Salute trying to hold the line, but there is so much pressure barreling in from T1.
T1 didn't get their early game fights, and they want one right now.
Oh, les Twisted qui sont remontés premiers.
Coming up, and Twisted right now is distracted with what's going on with Namiga, so they can't third party in. The faster that T1 can execute this firefight, the better for themselves. DL now down on the hillside, could be in some trouble. 7-7's very close to him, and he's had to retreat away from this very aggressive T1, and he's very vulnerable on this hillside. He knows it. He just has to run down, but luckily there's a lot of extra skirmishing that's going on the map, so he has some angles to play from that are safe for now.
Yeah, Orca gonna roll in. Gen G continues to have a pretty stellar showing here. DL at least getting a consolation prize and taking down 7-7 from 17. Some grenades starting to ring out here from Namiga, but Example lights one up. He's traded instantly.
Namiga has no options. They just have to push up the hillside. Heather actually gets some vision on Namiga as well. That is going to slow down the pacing on their push, and that's going to force Twisted to have to retaliate and kind of reconsider their positioning. They had one member in Perfectix very far back. He's now focused on Namiga as the circle pops away from Death Road and moves us down into no man's land.
Heather's got a Mark 14. He's got that level 3 gear. Some great grenades from Twisted Minds that really lit up Namiga. They're not getting everything they would want out of it. They get some, but not all. As the Rez stuck inside of the shack. Good to go temporarily. Oh my God, Batu almost just triple tapped. Hello, my bad, out of that US.
But where does he go? Now he's running right down into Sharper. There's no options. Twisted wants to get control over Death Road before they run down this hill, because it is going to be absolutely bloody. Expect tons of people taking shots. Twisted knows this. They want to finish this as fast as possible, but Lou taking a lot of damage is going to go down. It's going to be Heather, T1 back behind, Perfectix trying to hold the line against them. Twisted now caught between two different angles that they have to defend from.
Dude, Heather's going crazy. He's got an M249 behind the Mark 14. He absolutely just lit Twisted up, and they're crumbling here. I don't know that Namiga can get too much further either. He's got the 3X. You could prone down, and that thing becomes a laser beam.
T1 just feasting up on top of Death Road right now, making it live up to its name. 7 kills. Still, all 4 members up, and they're just continuing to push over into the east. Twisted trying to defend it. Gedrock still alive for Namiga. Hell of my bad, also kind of starting to opt back into the north, realizing that Sharper is still holding out, not inside the safe zone. They're taking shots at him. He's in some trouble. Gedrox is going to go down. Namiga gets eliminated, and now T1 has more opportunities to push right after Twisted.
A huge game for Gen G right now as Sharper getting lit the heck up by Delwyn. And others from TE. Type continue to try to push forward, but gets spotted. Has to go instantly prone. In fact, he gets knocked by Gizera. That grenade, just didn't get there in time. Gizera able to steal that point. Now T1 trying to readjust, but it's going to be right into Furious Crosshairs. Gizera finding more.
just can't get the angle. Twisted once off of this, but now Twisted has to go. This is such a big problem. Trying to push down Death Road into these very defended positions. It's going to be Furia with just a beautiful sightline onto it all. DL still alive for the Freaks right along the hillside as well. T1 has to just run down the hill. They're going to be running right next to DL. No real options to work with. Furia just taking shots into Sharper, as well as what's going to be going on. Heather does spot out DL. That's going to be the Freaks eliminated, but T1 just trapped right in this little bit of a ridge.
And that shot T1 up into 4th place overall. Just 4 points behind the Freaks, who they just wiped out. Oh, Escaluzia, yeah, no way, Jose. Gizera, rooftop farming. And a couple players from T1 trying to lock it down. They're getting help. Gizera's is hitting everything he shoots at right now with this Mark 12.
It's just sightline into sightline. Everybody's having to run right down into his vision, and he is loving every moment. The Expendables are just due south of their position, well, southeast of them, due south of the circle. Circle does pop. That means that the Expendables are going to have to move. Fury is going to have to finally move. T1 in their little bit of a divot inside the circle, and that's going to be about it, except for Arena way down to the southeast.
T1's just praying that Furia and the Expendables beat each other up here, and Arena, but Arena has to defend against Gen G. 2 players alive for them as they're trying to push their way forward. Batu ain't moving a muscle for a while as, yeah, Gen G just looks over the hill and Opans instantly sits Orca down, looking for more, gonna get the flush.
There's more cover with the cars outside and kind of that picnic bench than there is inside that shack right now, but it's best that E-Arena's got, and they've got to try to make it work. Expendables, what are you gonna try to do to get rid of it? Of course, C4 solution, perfect for this style of situation. Glory is going to run right down into their face. Do they have the defensive line set up? Even the hillside, he jumps out, rolls it down. Are they expecting it? They don't know. They finally spot it. Is the explosion going to take down? Does get 2. Just 1 up in Jacob.
Beautifully aimed, beautifully timed there by Clories. That's going to be some extra points going their way. Kawazine gets 1 with the bolt from afar, but E-Arena out. T1 still holding on. Batulin uses this moment. He finds a great grenade on the E-end.
Up on top, he knows that this is about the only option that he has for safety. Now not going to be able to find too much more. Going to go down. T1 still clinging to life, but Furia realizes an opportunity for themselves that Batulins has provided.
All right. Let's see what they can do, but now I'm concerned about Posa sneaking up on top of Heather and E-End right now. Meanwhile, yeah, TE going to claim a bunch of stuff over here. They just got to worry about some of the sight lines that maybe Furia has, but Furia players had to throw down smokes. We're getting tagged up, so they need a moment to recoup, reset. T1, do they know that Posa's up here?
Look at these point drop downs right now. We've got Twisted at 107, the Expendables at 103. Then in 3rd place, it's T1 at 71 points. Furia could have a big game, maybe try to jump over T1, but T1, it needs everything that they can get to try to catch up to the Expendables. The Expendables have an opportunity with Twisted now down and really having T1 and Furia on top of each other. They've got so much of the circle. Heather's going to go down. Gizera still on fire, just doing tons of damage as Ian now the last one up.
Okay, I just noticed this. The Expendables have 23 frag grenades right now. They just went in and looted nothing but frag grenades. I feel like this game is over. I feel like the Expendables are winning this game. You might as well just give up now.
Rename a red zone the Expendables because they're just going to bring it. Duck Juice still doing more looting back behind all of this. T1 trying to get some time to regroup. Does manage to get the man back up. The Expendables spot out Furia on one side of it. Furia overextends, trying to go after T1 and Posa instantly punished.
Great stuff here. Now here comes the barrage. A little bit of damage on the backside to Gizera. Tanvu looking for more. That grenade just a bit too far. Clories lining up with another one if it's good. T1's out. No, the hillside protecting. It doesn't matter. They're getting more kills all over the place.
3. How many more we got? We got the 4th. 4! What more? Kawazine has to defend and it gets bullets. Tanvu goes for a bit of a drop on it, and somehow Kawazine holding it together on this side. It's a 1v3. The Expendables managed to take it.
Just beautiful stuff from the Expendables.
Mais les Expendables qui refont un topper. On se mettra un peu à l'abri.
Right in the middle of Furia, and it comes down to those 2 at the end, but the Expendables gamble, find the open space, and get the win yet again.
Furia felt like they had so much control inside that, but T1, dude, just wouldn't die. They were just cockroaches. No matter what you got thrown at them, somehow they managed to cling to life. and Furia had to push up the hill, and that created a vulnerability that the Expendables exploited perfectly.
T1 was taking some
Couper
great
la
fights
crève,
up on
moi,
that
c'est pas
side
possible.
against the Freaks, against Twisted Minds. That was a really well-handled game from them.
I mean, T1, these guys are also popping off in and of themselves, given the fact that they're doing so many early game fighting just to contest against the top of the leaderboard. Early out for Twisted's made the top of the leaderboard a bit more complicated, but we still have one more Erangel to go.
I said with the previous match that the greatest team in the world is here to play, but the world champions have something to say about that, because the Expendables is back with another win. Tambu's here with more kills. They're getting everything. They are now taking over Twisted Minds at that #1 position. These two are at loggerheads with one another. Whoa.
Yeah, and what a great opening with that C4. Roll it down there, put some pressure on the arena. Oh, Pondsman. Oh, Pondsman, that blew up.
He did.
And I will say this, though. The way that the smoke line managed to save Cloris as well, that was huge, because that had an impact. Gaunston actually had quite an opening. Tanwu was low, but if it wasn't for that 2 versus 1 situation, it would be a little bit harder for them. But fantastic for T here. Another game. That's 3 out of just 11 games, man.
Yeah, as we said at the beginning of the day, right? They seem to be peaking at the right time. They just look spectacular in execution.
I will say this, though. So far, it's been very big and huge games, and, going out, doing crazy things, doing shenanigans.
That is very TE, though, right?
Very TE.
Like,
and I've said this for quite a while. Imagine if they can fix those games where, they're bombing out or doing shenanigans, trying crazy things. But I feel like if they're trying to do the salvage things and trying to get, they're good at, like, their average is getting the 4, 5, 6 points. If they try to do that, we're not going to see the crazy 15, 20 kill games, wins. Like, we're not going to see both, right? Because if they don't kind of run with it, this snowball effect doesn't start if you play salvage games in the game. You're not able to.
Oh, the way they play at present, it's bordering between genius and insanity, right? And because you can do that, you go back to that Miramar game in PGS where they basically smash the kill count and then get themselves the win as well, right? They play like an absolute whirlwind, and we watch them here as they're able to set up a perfect C4 against their opponents and then dismantle the rest of the competition across this valleyed area, which just great stuff from them once again. And if you don't have guys like Tambu on your fantasy roster, you're in the bin.
I'll say this, though. Delvin, Cloris, and Doctus had a fantastic game for this one, too. Tanwu wasn't the highest fragger at all.
True.
I don't think he's going to be the man of match for this one here. So it's always awesome to see both Tanwu getting, great games. But when everyone else is contributing and the confidence we see in them, and we've been saying it, and especially what we saw at PNC earlier this year, what we've seen from Delvin. Delvin's such an amazing player in the kind of complete package. He's able to frag, he's able to IGL, he's able to lead from the front, doing sometimes crazy things, but also doing genius things, opening angles that they shouldn't be able to have. And yeah, that's what I love from this team. And always, talking to Doctor, he's always such a fun guy, such a happy-go-lucky guy, and that's why we love this team so much.
They're scary. That's going to give them 27 points for a single game alone. Wow. Brilliant stuff from them. T1 will follow this up with another 14 points. Important points for Furia as well, though. 13 will move them nicely up.
Yeah, and I had Type on my day 1 fantasy team, and I didn't have him because they kind of look a little bit rough. But today, he's been doing too good, and the hot drops have been going their way.
They have.
Oh, yeah. It's been a little bit rough. I'm sad I don't have Type, but good to see T1 do well. They are definitely putting themselves into this conversation once we're getting into the last day of Group A in 2 days. Yeah, it's going to be awesome to see because obviously them being in 3rd now, there might be quite the deficit from 2nd to 3rd. We've been talking about it. Is it going to be two spots up for grabs or is it going to be 3? It's looking like 3, but
it looks like it.
This separation is really huge at this point here from 2nd down to 3rd. We're talking 36 points actually, James. It's
That's monstrous.
That's 2 wins and 8 kills in each of those 2 wins lead right now.
Yeah.
That's quite insane.
Yeah, the Expendables and Twisted Minds in a class of their own right now here in Group A, as they're almost assuredly going to be taking 2 of those top 5 spots here. But with the other 3 spots now open, I mean, I started off the day thinking to myself, it'll probably only be 2, considering how well like FN Ponchon was playing things out. That's fallen off quite considerably though here, Martin.
The phone has been calling all day, you know, been ringing.
Ring.
Nobody's answering. Hello, it's Dog. They've not been picking up the phone.
No one's there.
Sure. FN Pochon, we had huge expectations on Zenith after what we saw from his day one performance. He had 15 kills.
Yep.
Huge expectations from Rex. He had 30 kills in their PGS 10 performance. Like, there were so many situations where we're like, okay, FN Pochon, they've been turning it on. They might be our new hope for one of the big Korea teams, especially after FN Freaks. DN Freaks, they have not been able to kind of step it up compared to FN.
One thing's for sure, with 7 games remaining in this group, there's still so much to play for 14 of these teams. You need to be leaping up into that top 5. Let's head over to the commentators for one last time for today.
Still a ton to play for, as we've got people vying for avoiding last chance qualifiers. We've got fights up at the top for who's going to get first, and then we've got the struggle to survive at the bottom. A playing path that starts over Primorsk and only makes it as far north as Lippo. Does mean that Yasnaya, hot drops might be back on the table though, Paper.
I'm assuming so. I am watching, waiting. Did 4 a.m. get out of the plane? Is what I need to know, because if they did not go to that drop, although especially with the Expendables angling that direction, yeah, I think you're right, Matt. I think this is going to be another go for 4 a.m. versus T1.
Waiting with Antissa.
Patient.
4 angry men jump. Do we have a T1 underneath of them? It looks like we do. Stacked up. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of a longer drop. Are we going to see a bit more of a contested drop, or are we going to see a bit more separated? We've seen 2 different variations on Yasnaya so far.
Well, it's a little bit more to the east, so maybe that changes the equation. T1 wants to cut down early. Looks like they're going for the rooftops of the apartments, trying to see if they can grab those guns, and there's a world where they shoot somebody out of the air once they pick them up.
Circle leans this direction, so that means that this can be a bit longer of a firefight. Really make sure you cement in a victory. We ended up with an awkward start, but already off the get-go, like you're talking about, trying to go for some shots. I think that we saw some damage, but doesn't get the knock.
Yeah, I could see that there was a window there for T1 to maybe get lucky, and they got damn close. Long's down at 22 HP. So T1 gonna flank a player out. I think that's Type over by the police station or whatever you want to call that building that's over there. And then 3 players in the apps proper. So plenty of loot available for T1 here.
I like that. I mean, send Type over, feed him a ton of loot inside of the police station, whatever you want to call it. Let him get up to the top so that way he has high ground, get some vision in. 3 members close, let them lightly loot and prepare for a faster push.
And he can see a lot of the road from up there, so he's going to be able to tell if they're trying to come over to T1's side. He's going to be kind of that early alarm system for T1's players. As we take a look, Clories, hey. Delwyn, 6 kills too. I'm glad I picked up a player from the Expendables today. Now, on my fantasy team, it was Delwyn.
Oh, hey,
hello,
Sharper. Finding out Dominguez Aleosh right off the start. This is an interesting little development that we've got brewing over here. Gedrox holding the angle. If Thunders goes for the flush, he is going to get punished. But does Thunders read it? Just going to close the door, slow it down, and oh, is he going to bait it? Goes for utility on it. Oh, the door closes between the 2. Peeks back and forth. Gedrox, good play to time that one out. Using the door, slamming it back behind him whenever he retreated was so smart.
Earth driving by this. Is he actually going to commit? No way he commits to this. This is craziness. He's got the other 2 rolling up with him. I mean, I again love the confidence from Sharper.
Sometimes it's about sending a message. This is also a pretty strong point in the circle, so this just might be playing for later stages. Jedi goes a little bit too close to that doorway. Gets somehow punished. 4 HP. He wants to go on the chase for it, but hello, my bad. Just pumping bullets in back behind him.
Oh, everybody getting tagged up somewhere or another, but Gedrock's actually going down despite the crossfire that Nemiga seemingly had. Sharper's able to get in.
Sending a message sometime is important. Sharper in 6th place right now has Nemiga back behind them. Just a couple of points between the two. Hello, my bad. Trying to get closer to Levante. Looks like he might have found the angle of approach to get there. Gonna catch some airtime, use the buildings for cover. Levante just kind of hiding out inside that shrubbery right there, not gonna get spotted.
Yeah, hard to see through that. So even though we can see it with the X-ray, the players cannot quite. I don't know what in the world happened with 17. Just
Don't
probably
hit
get
that tree.
Shot as they drive.
Don't you hit anything right
He's
now.
on literally 1 HP.
A lot of the knocks that we've been seeing, I was talking to some of the players about what was going on the first 2 days, is what's been happening is exactly this. People are getting down to like 1 HP and then they connect on like side of a tree or they catch a little bit of a rock while they're driving through. It's just enough to knock them and it pops them out of their vehicle.
That's a good shout. I mean, because we see it a little bit too often, yeah, where somebody...
the ramification of somebody laying on the ground and we don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's just too much fire.
Well, you see it in the kill feed. You see the fell out of the vehicle, and you're like,
Yeah.
eh? And now it all makes sense. That's a good track of information there.
2 used for 140 damage. He knows exactly.
That's pretty good for Molotovs.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great hold for it. Uh-oh, Roth, you about to have some friends, and these friends are feisty. They've already been fighting, and they ain't scared. Roth going to try to take some shots to scare them away, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. They feel very confident in having what they want today.
Well, and Roth, he's all alone here, so he is not so confident, and I think it's fine. I think he's out. Are they going to just circle the wagons and set up and
get the higher ground point?
I think they
maybe
they're trying to prevent the res.
Oh yeah, they spot out the res, so maybe trying to see if they can be sneaky back after it.
Yeah, he's going to go up. This building right here is guaranteed control as long as you don't get knocked. Go up to 2nd or 3rd floor and you can see it all. Sharper maybe realizing that this wasn't the one. The funny thing is you just go north or, way up to the one that's in between Yaz and Kameshki, or go to Lippo, but Lippo's kind of still underneath Kadzia's control with D, so.
I think, didn't they get the res off? So I think they might have gotten all that they wanted.
I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure they didn't, because Roth was been there the whole time, so unless something really weird
happened. The vehicle for a second, remember, and ran out.
It takes like 10 seconds. I don't think they had enough time. I think they have to just go to the one that's up by Kameshki.
Oh, hey, Nemiga. Losing a buggy now.
Dernier match de la journée.
Different approach, so should be fine. They have to be careful, though. The Expendables are going to be rotating. T1 did spot this, and that's going to be the ones taking shots at them. Back behind the Expendables making their wraparound no lean in that area just to the northwest of Yasnaya is going to be JDG back behind them.
Yeah, that C4 did a bunch of damage. Almost 3 there. 274, 26 shy of 300. And again, it's all about the timing with that. I mean, Clory's almost did it perfectly. If it had just been, a few ticks longer on that C4, it would have been good night. It basically was anyway, but would have just taken the one C4.
And then just like that, Al-Qadsiya goes back to their 4-man split. I love the fact that they love it. And it makes me nervous, but it has been working to some effect for them right now. They're still in that thick of a hunt position, but they're starting to creep down the leaderboard, down into 11th. Orchid just got themselves inside the circle. Going to be very close right now to another one of the towers, but should be good. Nemiga's found themselves a tower that they're probably going to be using in just 1 second. Yep, makes a commit. Go ahead. Kameshki should be fine.
Yeah, takes a long while, but well worth it, especially when you can get both players back up. Not sure if Sharper...
This has got to be like the safest one to go for. Who goes to Kameshki,
Yeah,
really?
literally nobody in esports. Like, this is the only time anybody's going through Kameshki is if it's a northern circle that has a bunch of Stalber in it.
Every single time I see somebody at Kameshki, Taryn one time said the fact that they jokingly call it kamikaze whenever they were playing. And it does feel that way, because if you go up there, you're just not going to be making it back out. It's better than it used to be. That was like early days of PUBG esports, because it was before all this, the new cover got added to the north, secondary loot and everything else like that. But it just gets so little play. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, no, well, it's just such a weird spot. It's so low ground, and You know, with everything around it, it just, if anybody catches you out there, you're in a world of trouble. But that being said, going there sometimes just catches people off guard because they don't expect it. You can just go uphill, but...
Well, Sharper might be eyeing a tower of their own yet again, and it's going to be where Levante is. Amiga might need to be a bit too careful, but I think that they're going to be fine. I think they crossed the other side of the road.
The stun there just didn't catch Gedrex enough to give Thunder the extra chance. Thought he had gone one way. They block the door there.
I thought he had it on this shot. Like, he just didn't connect enough of them. And if he had hit those shots through the door onto a car as it was crashing, that would, I mean, he hit a couple, I think one or two, but that would have been absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he didn't hit the head. That's the problem, right? He hit the shoulder or something, and that's where it just kind of crumbled.
Well, on the other side of it, it was also a seat swap to get out of the driver's position into the other side. So it's really hard to hit a headshot there.
Oh, very, very difficult.
Just a car driving through a doorway angle while they're in the air and somebody's seat swapping. God, why didn't you hit more shots?
Unbelievable. Yeah. They're only the best players in the world. All right, right on top of Yaz. So T1 was like getting ready to move, and they're like, never mind. Right back into Yaz. Even the Expendables here found one of the houses to the east of Yasnaya that they're going to go into, although Sharper kind of driving in that direction. Got to be careful. Looks like they're pulling short. Al-Qadzia actually has Heaven, or the Sky Garden, as I like to call it, completely available, but they're bypassing that. They're going through the forest north of Mansion.
Rex going down. F and Pochon going to have some trouble finding some points. Got to be careful. They're going to also have Furia very, very close to them on the outskirts, down next to Prison. Wrapping around, see if they could find some form of safety over here. Not really finding too much. Instead, danger close situation that maybe if they wrap to the east, they can get away from. Orchid also looks like they could be wrapping along shelter, maybe that Prison line as well. So if FN kind of hunkers down here, Furia could find themselves a bit more pinched.
Look at Zakraken. He might catch Breakers completely off guard. He does, but Breakers got some jukes.
Look at that. Holds it, barely survives. Goes for the smoke down. Orchid did stop. They heard the firefight. Instead, they're going to go more north. They don't want to get involved in it. And finally, Breakers does go down.
I worry about FN now. This is one of their kind of moments where the decision-making is left kind of wondering if they had just pulled, like you said, Matt, just pulled off and gone east. You know, they could have survived longer in the game. I think their idea might have been, hey, let's take the fight and get Rex back in the game. We're right by a revive station in Prison or something, but...
Zenith. Does get the better end of the trade. Does get knocked back onto Zakraken. So something out of it. Poza, though, is going to spout out Breakers and get the flush. Now, how much of this do you really want? On both sides of it, it's gotten a bit weird.
Yeah, now for Furia, this is a lot less profitable than you were hoping. And I mean, you're in that 5th place spot. Every point is oh so precious. Zenith gonna make a wrap, gonna change direction. Star-Lord watching his back for him, so he knows that it's relatively open, but I don't know if they've realized that Furia is fully rotated on Zenith. He's in trouble unless he gets out of there.
Well, there's a lot to be had on this because of how compacted this leaderboard is. Taking out somebody early, and on top of just getting the points, gets somebody off of your back. Diffx is going to spout out Levante. Levante is just going to continue on his merry way. PWD is pretty far north of this and is going to have some high ground, but I don't think has the best vision on this. So Namiga is going to, from up on top of Stalber, where it looks like they were trying to do some type of regroup, not going to be able to get too much more. PWD might actually be able to intersect onto that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're spot on. There was no hope there for Levante once PWD got into range. He made quick work of him. FN going for the wider wrap here now. I'm very curious what their plan is at this point. Are they actually going to play for zone? Are they just going to try to find some more kills on a Furia? Like, what's the game plan? As I think Furia just got their revive in.
And if you're curious what's going on, in Stalber, they're trying to get the loot situation and some vehicles, and hello my bad, and everybody was wanting to regroup up there, but they just can't quite get there. So instead, it's just gotten really, really weird, and now hello my bad is just going to hold down a point for the other members to regroup at, as we do see a Furia getting their res. So it's like nothing bad ever happened, except for those couple of bullets.
Yeah, Orchid sent 2 players down, realizing that the revive was going to be attempted, and tried to punish it, but really couldn't do too much. Got some damage in, sure, but nothing beyond that. Center circle send, and Orca loses a player. This is actually on the south side. I was talking about QAD who was going center. Gen G is just in trouble. They are right in the middle of 17.
Yeah, that wrap just did not work out. Xiaowu, I love it. Honk the horn a bit. I mean, 17, you got to be careful because E-Arena also heard this, and they wanted to see if they could pick up some points, and they didn't get there just in time. About a half second to a second more, and 17 could have found some trouble. Gen G, though, still on the outside of the circle. Not a lot of options to work with. I guess you could wrap more to the north, but then that puts you after JDG and Twisted. That's not going to feel too good either, is now Namiga just going to go ahead and run down, and it looks like it's going to be Yasnaya time for them. Catching some air. GifX wanted that, man. He is on the hunt, but that puts him so close to T1.
Yeah, he is donezo. Actually goes down to a tongue move. 4AM going to steal the point. Type looking for more, as he is great with that AUG. Duck Juice? No, not going to get it.
Namiga was so low on life there. If T1 wasn't taking those shots, they would have been just toast. They had enough time to get meds back up, but they'll win. The Expendables also want a party in this.
Yeah, they're just free farming out here. They got a bunch of different angles onto the outside of this. This formation that the Expendables has is so great. Realizing that if Yasnaya stays in, a lot of teams are going to be forced into this edge, and they're going to be able to claim a ton of freebies. And Delwyn again with that mini. Spectacular.
Amiga just feels everywhere they go has 2 or 3 squads shooting at them. It's been unrelenting for a while now. Orchid has being a bit gate-kept now by Furia in their new position. FN Pochon still has their 2 members up, down around prison. I think that they might be trying to scope out some of the blue chips and see if they could get some reses back of their own. I can't think of any other reason to still be down there for so long.
I'm right there with you. That has to be the reason. But, you know, the funny thing is, this is one of the few moments where past phase 3 where I think a revive actually could work because so much of Yaz is still in the circle, you might actually get lucky. It's still going to be tough, but...
And they're down to the southeast. Even if they have 2 members that just kind of crash into Yasnaya and try to get looted, you have a safety anchor that's going to be over there. Karo's in.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Going to take shots at FN Pochon, picks up Star-Lord, and what is the cost is the real question right now, as it is just Zenith up for FN Pochon.
Did he have the chips? That's the question.
Rex, can he even get in? So many people already in Yasnaya. Look at all of those lines going right out of Yasnaya. A big section of the circle. Lurik's just trying to land, trying to find some loot. Does at least crash into the building, but peeking around that angle is going to be very, very scary. Now, how many people are just going to make the commitment in? We've got Al-Qadsia just roaming right into Yasnaya. Tongue move, spotting it out on one side. We're not done yet. JDG on the other side of it also making a push. Everybody's got eyes on Yasnaya, and those property values are soaring.
Yeah, they were just trying to find anything that wasn't claimed by 4AM already, but all they get is a little bit as they lose a bunch of players. The grenade right on top of Roth at the stairs. Shen's going to claim that, and Al-Qadsia might be getting cut from this game.
T1 just so cleanly played around this. Yeah, they know Yasnaya and they know how to fight around it. Rex making landfall as Zenith did go down in that big mess. E-Arena, they have an idea, and it's the exact same idea that Al-Qadsia had. Let's see how well that goes as the firing line for 4 Angry Men popping off big, but not as big as it did just a moment ago. T1 gets a vision. Sharper on a completely different position on the outskirts of Yasnaya, caught in a fight with the Expendables.
Oh, Tanvu with a huge grenade. Teammate be damned. He gets a big one. There's still 2 players up, only one though for Sharper. So the Expendables have the advantage, but Delwyn very far away, providing oversight with that mini still from his perch. Jedi wants to flush the points, wants to get Sharper in, but is it going to go through this time? Thinking about the first aid. Thunder's almost bleeding out. Going to be able to maybe get this res if it's allowed. Nope, it's not.
Rolls over. Please res me. Instead goes down. The Expendables picking up more. That puts them with a little bit of a lead ahead of Twisted. Twisted also made the commitment into Yasnaya. So in Yasnaya, we've got Orchid, we've got Twisted, we've got Genji, kind of toasted, we've got 17. T1, we got Quizzy and crew over there. Hell am I bad? from Namiga managed to make it over there. Of course, we've got Lou and his crew. JDG's over there. On the outskirts, of course, the Expendables. On the outside of the zone is going to be Furia that need to find some way to get in, and it's going to be between potentially the Expendables and the Freaks, unless they wrap to the north and just let everybody from Yasnaya shoot at them.
Freaks just have too much zone control for them to go south.
Yeah.
So they have to try a different direction and out of the frying pan into the fry, or they're just going to send it at them. I mean, there's so many teams that are going to be shooting them. They're going to be soft when they get there. If they get there, DL with the SLR.
I mean, this is just the best of a bad situation. You can't really do too much more. Freaks have multiple members already outside in the field trying to control the territory, expecting somebody to maybe make a wrap around here, and it's just going to be punishing for Furia. All these nades landing on top of him. Sprays right into the smoke. There's just nothing that can be found right now.
Hold on.
Starting to turn it a bit. Posa, the two of them together, finding something. Now starting to fight their way back out of it. Starting to get some firefights happening inside of Yasnaya itself. The circle leans into T1's positioning. That's going to be the focal point along those crossroads.
That's disaster for the Freaks. They should basically have Furia well handled there, but they don't get the second knock. And here come the mortar shots. Oh, they're short. They're short. They're not going to connect just yet. Rez is in for Furia. Now Salute trying to rein in. He's got the angle. He's got the distance. He's got one, but the foldable shield just in time for Gizera.
Furia just trying to limp their way in. Do they spot out enough of Heaven? They get some damage, but they don't get the knock. Nade goes out blind. Does connect. Big throw from Heaven. That's going to make this way easier.
Yeah, you just need to Salute to keep kind of distracting Furia. Don't give them the opportunity to respond other than the throwables. As long as they miss Heaven, he's going to be okay. Should be able to maybe get the res, so this may be turning around for the Freaks.
Furia tried to make it happen, but man, it's just too many different angles that the Freaks had set up inside. Yasnaya itself, Twisted, finding some kills. They don't want to let the Expendables get too far ahead of them. Salute still after Gizera. Gizera, see if maybe he can go for a cheeky peek here or there. He knows where Salute is, but in the end, Furia is going to go down. So back into the thick of Yasnaya. Twisted has to make a push into the zone, and it's going to be JDG trying to gatekeep them out with maybe some assistance from E-Arena.
Oh, buckle up. I hope you like city endings because we're getting close to one.
Yeah. I
know you and I do.
Especially this one, because this is really interesting. T1's position that they took so early is so strong inside the circle. 4 Angry Men that opted into just kind of cutting just a bit further north of them are going to have a lot of options to really hold in. The issue is to the northwest, where we've got Orchid, where we've got E-Arena, JDG, Twisted. This could potentially just be a constant compression of teams just stacking on top of each other.
T1 hasn't moved.
Nah.
They just sat here the whole game.
When you pick the best spot, why you got to go?
That's true. Them and 4AM are just like, hey, look at us. We opted to hot drop, and look at this. Look at us now. Look at us now.
Best hot drop ever, man.
That's right.
I love you guys. JDG under more and more pressure from Twisted. Twisted's been very clinical in how they're approaching. Look at this outside wall, the way that they go for a peek. They feed that over. They take another couple of steps. They don't want to put themselves in too bad of a spot, but let's not forget that Tosi is still alive over here.
Yeah, there's some side angles, though, for Twisted that are going to be a little bit concerning, that are going to be tough. Grenade there. Slows the roll. Blue has to back off for a moment. There you go. Tosi strikes, gets Batu. Meanwhile, the Expendables doing some damage, but Batu trying to crawl into some level of safety. It doesn't bounce over. I thought for a moment it was going to catch over the wall, and too bad, so sad for Tosi.
That little bit of a gap, that break in the wall itself, if it had a bit more distance, it could have gone through. JDG got a bit more time before having to deal with Twisted, but Twisted did manage to make it in the new safe zone. As it pops away from Yasnaya, shifts down into T1 territory. That means that this is going to be very hard. Orchid has to cross the road right next to E-Arena. JDG still caught in containment for Twisted, but Twisted can kind of now shift down to the south. They don't have to fight JDG unless they want to and try to go for the circle, but that means that 17 could be holding them back.
Well, JDG's fighting on 2 fronts now. They've got Orchid rolling in from their backside. It's a 1-for-1 there. It's December to the 12th, trying to figure out where the heck Orchid went. They went upstairs, my guy. E-Arena seeing some players. Oh, had a moment there on the Shaolu where the head was sticking through. Magore takes down December to the 12th. And Orchid with a solid push while JDG was distracted with Twisted.
Twisted is just using the opportunity, stepping forward time and time again. JDG, just no option, but there's the 17 firing line. Perfectix goes down. Xiaopei is the one that spots it, but he takes a lot of damage. He has to retreat.
Oh, the grenade here, if it can get up on the roof, might have been able to get the knock, but a counter grenade, oh, it's so good. almost gets example as well, but at least cleans up Perfectix. Point in the bag here for 17. They need all they can get. Arctic's great vision there, able to see some players from E-Arena, starts throwing the frags out to see if he can soften them up.
So many smokes down right now, it's so hard to see anything. Twisted doing a good job of using just the walls for some form of safety, but Magori does spot him out. Zhao Wu spots out example. Twisted just can't find a way to really push their way through. It's just Batulin's the last one up, watching everybody around him die. He's caught himself between too many different teams. No clean angles, at least gets a knock on Magori.
All right, let's see if he can do more. Oh, had a chance for a second when Boostic offered it up,
Oh,
but
no.
Boostic, yeah, just corner peeks and takes him down. Gets the headshot, gets the kill. Down Twisted goes in second place currently. Well, we'll finish there 100%. There's no way in hell anybody else is catching him right now, at least not today. Now it's just a firing line here for 17. Some of those players on the other teams, well, pretty much all of them that he's looking at are outside. E-Arena has already gotten in, so just kind of a battle for points here as Orchid and JDG.
JDG, just the longer they can try to survive, maybe 17 can provide some assistance and defend out. I mean, Suzay's just got to defend close range, tries to go for some jukes, but no, the window is going to be too vulnerable, and he goes down. Orchid, 5 kills, continuing to walk in, has a bit more of an option, but now they have to deal with E-Arena, who I believe now has the Church and a new control angle, as well as 17's high ground still.
Yeah, the Church is a little funky, though. There aren't a ton of great angles out of it necessarily. As Delwyn trying to make a breach, but it's hello, my bad. Maybe didn't check that shack, or I don't know how that happened. I mean, usually the Expendables are pretty good about figuring that stuff out, but oh, got lit up though. It's hello, my bad. Goodbye.
Nice combination from near on everybody in that vicinity. Remember that GK kind of got forced into this position earlier. Now they're going to have to deal with the Expendables right on top of them, waiting to see how this new circle means, and it just goes T1 yet again. It's going to be hard to find too much more after 5 kills up on top. Anything is under T1's territory of control.
This is beautiful util, though, from the Expendables. They're shepherding Geeke into the back of the mansion where they can start throwing some throwables on him. A great molly as well from Tanvu. So well thought out to just pin them in, and even switching over to a Saiga to make sure that when Geeke has to break free, they can just put the shotgun right in their faces. Orchid using the smokes to get right into that Church. Oh, what in the world? Quizzy gets Tanvu. He's got a shotgun of his own.
A really nice angle up on top, and he's trying to see if he can close it as much as possible. This is not inside the new safe zone, and remember, we still have Type up on the high ground that's watching it all. GK realizing they have the opportunity here, but they have to push on it fast. Duck Juice has to hold this angle. He can't commit in the res. He has the shot. He does line up, picks up both up. Duck Juice now all by his lonesome, though, has to assault the position that Type has been holding for so long.
Yeah, I don't suspect that's going to be easy. Type has been there for quite some time. There's a crate right outside of the building as well of the police station. And now Heather, ooh, a moment for Lil Ghost, but the spray with the 3X not on target. And as he watches Orchid over there, seemingly able to get through E-Arena.
Here's our update. We still have Duck Juice that needs to get in the zone, of course. Type's going to be holding him out from the prison building itself, or jailhouse, whatever you want to call it. Across the street from that's going to be T1, Dew Center. E-Arena is going to be in the Church, just to the northwest of that. Across the road, still 4 Angry Men. To the west of where we see E-Arena's position is going to be Orchid. 17 still alive, but let's not forget the Freaks, who haven't been able to get into Yasnaya itself. They're playing that outer skirt position, you know, like the gatehouses out there, as Duck Juice finally goes down. Type picks it up. Freaks still on the outside of this, might have some benefits depending on how these next circles go.
Yeah, actually, this is a crappy shift for the Freaks. I thought that maybe it would leave the city a little bit more for them, but instead we're going to be centering more towards T1's position. So they've actually got bolts. That's a good opportunity maybe.
A peek. It's hard against Type's position.
No, and well, Type also has level 3 gear now because of that crate that dropped there, so that makes it even worse for the bolt. But I was going to say, otherwise, you know, you get a knock on somebody in the house, like Heather, Ian, if they don't have that level 3 gear, you can get that instant knock and then maybe make a push off the back of that. That's kind of maybe what you're hoping for, just waiting for the chaos otherwise if you're the Freaks. If you can't find that knock, you got to wait for all the other teams on the outskirts to distract T1 if possible. Make your move then.
So now Type has some decisions ahead of him. He is no longer inside the safe zone. Neither are the Freaks. He can hold down that point and continue to kind of punish them. But with Type now being focused on the Freaks, it looks like 4 Angry Men have kind of realized that. they're starting to try to see if they can creep across the road. And interestingly enough, we can see 17 eyeing Type's position as well. All these high ground positions are starting to get pretty vulnerable to each other, but 4 Angry Men has to push right next to where Orchid is at. Just a PUBG moment. A second here or there. Could have gotten the headshot.
Yeah, no doubt. Smokes through. 4 a.m. Going to try to cross the road, but you got Orchid right on the other side of that fence. Makes things a little bit uncomfortable. EA in front of you. Molly right at the door. Keep Opons from trying to peek this as best you can, but this is, this is a problem for 4 a.m. maybe.
Does he have it timed well? Throws it out. Does connect. Shin's already down. 4 Angry Men. Not a lot of options. Can't even cross over and use the wall. Another nade's going to land on top of him. 17 tossing in some bullets as well. Lu Atongmu just trying to cling to life over here, and it looks like Orchid's realizing the fact that they can play the outer section of that wall now. They might have bitten off a bit too much as Xiaowu is going to spot out Boostic and get the knock onto him.
Yeah, the Freaks were trying to make their way through. Goodbye, 4 a.m. Oregon holds the line. Xiao Bei starting to get involved here. His blue zone grenade actually going to do a lot of lifting for them. Somehow, some way, the Freaks are still clinging to life, but they're getting crossfired by T1 and 17. They even hit that bolt headshot I was talking about, but they couldn't make a move because they already had suffered a knock.
Type's already come down from the building, so that means that the Freaks are just having to deal with a T1-17 position line, but there's nowhere to go. They're going to go down. So in the east, it's going to be T1 in control. To the north, it's going to be E Arena. Still got Magori back behind him from Orchid, and 17 with high ground and a lot of vision, but nobody's got center dot just yet.
Stellar stuff from Orchid in this game. The way they have been fighting tooth and nail through the city. I mean, they have gone building to building to building. Finally, it's starting to crumble. But I just have to give so much credit to Orchid, the way they played this game. Not easy as T1 still frying.
10 kills, and they are not done yet. They've got so many good firing lines. E-Arena just feels kind of trapped in between them and 17 as the break points where we were seeing two teams up at the top fighting for those dominant positions. T1 says no, there's still a ton of points. We're not done yet. We have eyes set on first.
We still have 4 frag grenades to boot. They could have. I thought maybe there'd be a follow-up.
Opons
in position, he goes for the stun, but there's a shotgun there. Little Ghost denies entry.
I love the idea from Opons, though, saying, okay, you can see that there is some contain there. This is the only opportunity. We've got to jump on 17, see if we can catch him unaware. Jacob taking so much damage, but T1 up on top. So much vision. 17 in a ton of trouble.
T1 is just so warmed up. They've just been firing for so long. They can just keep the sprays controlled. I mean, they look so clean right now. They're hitting everything they see, and they're so dialed in. Oh, even the mollies are on point.
See how this nade bounces around the corner. It's just perfection. Geometry, they know it all. There's nothing to be had. Jacob, the last one up. He's going to go down. Massive game for T1 to end the day.
I think that puts them up into 3rd place.
Oh, definitely.
Can you believe it?
With a break point back behind him on top of that.
Yeah, dude, a team that hot drops. Again, it can't be overstated. They hot drop on 4 of the 6 maps, and they're in 3rd place. They're crushing.
That is an absolute ludicrous statement. We see so many squads so terrified of hot dropping. Instead, they're getting rewarded for it in this. The way that they dropped in gave them the perfect position for these circles. So not only are they bullying the other squads around in drop, they're fighting their way up the leaderboard, and they're just killing everything. You can't say, okay, yeah, they got some circle love. They held that against everyone.
They were so on point. I mean, just whenever we got to see them shooting from their perspective, it was damage, damage, damage. Everything seemed to be hitting.
Hype on Type continues, isolated by himself, up on top of a building, just murdering everyone around them. No fear, no support needed.
Level 122, 112, 195. Qui sont à 3. C'est à 3. 1. Ça doit être à jour.
T1 has been through the grinder and they've survived every single hot drop. They've survived field endings. They've survived urban endings.
Regarde l'affaire.
Themselves a massive win to round out day.
Et après, on va partir en game. Je vais couper le stream. Changer le titre.
You say survived.
On est pour
T1,
petite minute.
With an MK on the top of the roof of Blue State,
Après la coupure du stream. Et je reviendrai juste après.
As I'll say this though, the way that they approached it, having kind of
Pour faire quelques games.
type, that paid off way more than it should have been. Great nade from Town as well. I kind of expected a little bit more from Expendables coming in from that eastern side, but they didn't manage to grab the amount of control from the library as I was hoping for. GK really shut them down with the two-man there too much.
Man, I'm so impressed by watching Ty play. I was excited to see him back on international soil again. Obviously, T1's had some ups and downs this year, but once they're back and showing the kind of dominance that they can put into play. I mean, I know a lot of people had Type on their fantasy teams. I'd taken him off because I'm concerned about the hot drops.
Yeah, I was concerned about the hot drops. I was concerned after what I saw from them in their day one. But yeah, he stepped up and, you know, getting everything going for them was obviously amazing here. Yeah, look at that angle. That's huge. But yeah, T1 getting in there, getting the kills, putting themselves quite deep into this top 5 position going into their last day.
Yeah, very impressive stuff, especially considering that there was a lot of threats that were laying in wait to try and deal with them. Team Orchid was coming in across the roads here to try and do a little bit of damage themselves. They survived to a long spot. Of course, Mogor getting himself 6 kills off the back of all of this going down as well. They've performed brilliantly today.
Yeah, Orchid really stepped it up, man. I've been impressed with them, especially considering how they're coming in, fighting at PGC. It's very difficult. They've been adapting to the lobby and to the teams that they've been playing against here in Group A quite well.
Definitely. I mean, when you look at Korea, though, as a whole, did you expect it to be T1, the one that's going to be the flagship, especially with FM Ponchon doing great in day one? DM Freaks is now fighting back as well, so there's some rising going on for some of them.
I was hopeful for DM Freaks, right? I was talking about it. If they didn't have a great day today, I was like, I'm going to scratch them off my favorites list, right? But so far, it's been a little bit of a resurgence for them. They're definitely going to be in our talk about the top 5 once we get to the last day, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. So that's going to be really interesting to watch in terms of Group A. But yeah, it's not the Freaks, kind of the level that we know they're capable of, and also the favorite position fighting for that first spot.
Yeah, that's for sure. As of course, we have in just a few moments' time some words from some of the players here for today. But that means now our middle pack is still going to be close going into our next day of games here for Group A. There's a few at the top that have secured themselves pretty much, but it is going to be close towards the top. You can see Team Orchid here just a little bit unhappy-ish with how things went out there. They thought maybe they could have got a little bit more. All right, well, let's hear from the stage now as we have Sharper Esports ready to go over with Pan.
เอาละค่ะแล้วก็เรียบร้อยไปแล้วนะคะสำหรับวันที่ 2 ของเรานะคะกับ Group Stage Group A นั่นเองแล้วก็ตอนนี้เราก็อยู่กับชนะนะคะจาก Sharper Esports นั่นเองนะคะโอ้โหแฟนๆเต็มไปหมดเลยแน่นอนวันนี้ต้องบอกว่าเขาเพอร์ฟอร์มออกมาได้ค่อนข้างดีเลยนะแต่ว่าที่สำคัญณตอนนี้นะคะแรงก็คือมันใกล้แล้วมันเกือบแล้วนะคะจะได้แตะอันดับที่ 5 ก็เลยอยากจะบอกว่าอยากจะถามคำถามสักนิดนึงว่า
Je vous montre le tableau final.
ต้องมีการพัฒนาหรือสิ่งที่เราควรจะ
Expandable premier, Twisted le second.
รอบ Finals หรือว่า Grand Finals ที่กำลังจะถึง
refresh pour voir.
เราควรจะทำอะไรดี
ควรจะทำก็น่าจะต้องเรื่องสติครับแล้วก็เรื่องคิดว่าเราจะเล่นข้างหน้าต่อยังไงดีกับการตัดสินใจที่ต้องเด็ดขาด
โอเคนะคะก็คือเป็นในเรื่องของสติเป็นเรื่องของการวางแผนนะได้อยู่นะวันนี้
Sur ce, je vous laisse. On se retrouve dans 10 minutes, un quart d'heure. Je redémarre mon PC. Et puis on se retrouve sur du PUBG. Allez. À de suite.